Hi, I'm Brandon Rhiness, and I am the writer and director of I'm Haunted 3 and the rest of the I'm Haunted series. And today we're going to do a commentary on I'm Haunted 3, so let's get into it.
Higher Universe Pictures.
Hi, I'm Willow Beckett.
So here we have Maya Molly, who's playing Willow Beckett. When I started this movie, it was kind of like when I did the second one. I didn't know where I was going to go with the story. When I made the original I'm Haunted, I had no plans to do any more, but it turned out to be quite popular, so I made a sequel, and that turned out to be even more popular, so I made a third one. And I wasn't sure where the story was going to go, but I came up with this story. And Maya was someone I'd worked with before, but only in very very tiny amounts. And she was in Hot Box. The original Hot Box was like the first big movie that I wrote and directed, and she played the girl that kind of did the came in when the three religious people came in, and she kind of was drunkenly stumbling in and kissed Barry on the cheek. So she was in there for like all of 1 second and didn't have any lines, and then she was in another one of the short horror films we did where she didn't say anything. She was barely in it. So I kind of figured I just owe her something because she's a good actor here in Edmonton, and I hadn't really worked with her, so I was like, you know what, let's cast her as the main part in this, and she did a wonderful job.
I'm a member of the church where Bailey Dawson shot her last video before she disappeared.
So here we're having a quick flashback to I'm Haunted 2.
Say bye to the viewers.
Bye.
I decided to watch the old I'm Haunted videos. It's given me a fresh perspective after everything I've been through.
I showed up one morning early one Sunday.
So yeah, that was a big thing. I've even seen a lot of talk online about how big of an idiot Bailey is. Bailey being the main character from part 2, played by Danielle Kravenke, that she saw the original I'm Haunted videos, knew that it led to a lot of death and destruction, and for some reason decided to try it herself to see if it was real. I think it still makes sense because although if you didn't believe in the paranormal, you would have think that there, even though there was a lot of deaths, that they were all logically explainable. So I don't think she was that stupid. It's just that she ended up doing the ritual twice. If you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. She did it twice, once in her own place and then once in a friend's place because it wasn't working fast enough, and she ended up just spreading the demon even further. But that did lead to issues with the story. It's like I couldn't have someone else do it again once it becomes blatantly obvious that this is real. So I kind of had to change it a bit, that she's doing more. Maya here, or Willow's doing kind of like a documentary, doing some research on everything that happened. And also that the I'm Haunted 2 movie had not been released yet at the time she was doing this. So while she saw the footage, she still wasn't sure if it was real or not. And I think it makes the story plausible enough that she would be willing to just to explore the whole lore of Seer a little bit more.
Weeks ago, and I found a sleeping bag and a laptop up by the stage. Later, when I was in the church basement, I found a phone lying on the floor. After guessing the passcode for the cell phone and the laptop, which was 1234, I found about 9 hours worth of recorded video by the aforementioned Bailey Dawson. And when I saw the last video of her being seemingly attacked, I became very interested.
Amy?
And I have a feeling that if this was real life, even if there was, quote unquote evidence that on video, I think people would still doubt it. There would still be part of you of most people that would just not be willing to believe it, and they would think that no, this is just, especially if it was released on YouTube or released as a movie, like it would be like, no, this was just obviously staged for publicity. So I think it makes sense that even though it seems overwhelmingly obvious that it's real, that people would tend not to believe it.
Amy? Amy?
I kind of wanted just to start the movie with a little bit of creepiness, even though it's the end part of the last movie, but it's partly to start off on a creepy vibe, but also to remind people what happened in the last movie. I just edited it a little bit faster here just to get through it quicker.
Amy? Ames? Amy! you doing here? Sweetie, you're scaring Mommy. What are you doing here? What's going on? What? Jesus.
One of her videos gave me an idea.
By the way, if I die or get incapacitated and you find these videos, you have my permission to release them. I don't want any money or anything. I just want people to see.
So it's funny how Willow just benefits from this little legal disclaimer that Bailey made here. But when I wrote this part and when we shot it in I'm Haunted 2, I was thinking ahead a bit that like if we ever decide to make a part 3, I wanted a reason why this movie here, because obviously it doesn't make sense that if Bailey's dead or possessed or whatever that she would get this movie released. So I was like, we would need some reason that another person could find this footage and somehow make a deal to get this movie put out. So I added this little bit in here, and thankfully I did because it ended up making sense.
So after seeing that and the video where Bailey mentions the company that released the I'm Haunted movie,
Some company even compiled her videos and made a movie out of it. I bought my own copy.
So I basically wrote my own company, Higher Universe, into this story, which would make sense that I'm trying to make it obviously seem real, even though it's not. So it's like, well, I'll write the company into it because we actually released I'm Haunted. So it kind of works in a very meta kind of way.
it's a company called Higher Universe. I reached out to them and I told them that I had video footage of someone who apparently performed the same ritual that haunted Genesis Brady, and they could.
And funny enough, this apartment here where we're filming this, we actually used it, or a very similar apartment in the first I'm Haunted. In the first one, the scenes with Genesis Brady's friend Blythe, it was actually in the same building, and the person whose apartment this is used to live in the basement apartment and then moved up to the third floor. And to be honest, I forgot. It wasn't until way after we filmed it. I'm like, oh yeah, we filmed that scene in the basement, so it had a lot of the same furniture, and I was kind of worried that people would point it out and be like, is this supposed to be Blythe's apartment? What the hell's going on? But no one ever mentioned it, so I guess no one noticed. Or if they did, they kept quiet about it.
It into an I'm Haunted too. They were very interested. And being the entrepreneurial person that I am, I asked if they'd fund my own project to make it a trilogy with I'm Haunted 3. And I'm sure, as you've guessed, they said yes.
So we're starting to see the beginning of the fact, like showing that Willow is maybe not the most moral person. Like she found this footage that someone went through a traumatic bad experience, whether or not you believe it's real. It was something bad happened to Bailey. And her first thought is, I'm going to sell this footage that's not even mine, but I kind of have permission to do. She's going to sell that to some company and then also ask for more money to fund a part 3. So it shows that, you know, maybe she's not a horrible person, but she's not the greatest either.
This is an ambitious project. Too much to do alone. So, this is my co-producer, cameraman, and friend, Donnie.
So that's N.A. Mawadi there on the right. He was in Grotesque 2. That's where we met him. He played one of the band guys in the scene where the band's van breaks down on the side of the road, and then Mildred comes up and brings them some gas to and try to figure out where she's going. That's where we met him. So I'd never worked with him outside of that, so we cast him in this to play Willow's friend / cameraman.
He really doesn't like being on camera too much, so you won't see much of him, but he's agreed to be my partner on this project.
Now, I'm not stupid. I know there's enough proof with all the deaths surrounding Genesis Brady and Bailey Dawson to scare me off performing the same ritual.
Yeah, see, that was the thing. I was like, it's not going to make sense if people are already saying how Bailey's an idiot for doing the ritual after what she saw in the first I'm Haunted. So it would be even dumber for Willow here to do it after seeing it happen again. So basically she's going to not do the ritual. She's just going to explore everything around it, but still somehow Seer gets his teeth into her and things work out according to his will, regardless of what Willow's intentions were.
especially being dumb enough like Bailey
And this camera footage was flipped around here, as you can tell, because the numbers on this house are backwards.
to do it twice in 2 different houses. But I do want to explore it from an objective angle and see what we can figure out. This is Daryl Wilson. He's the guy that let Bailey in to sleep in the church.
And this is the same church that we used in the I'm Haunted 2, but it's also the same church we filmed in for Grotesque 2. They were nice enough to let us in there, and it's hard to find a church that will let you film horror movies in it, so we tried to use it a lot while we had the opportunity.
So, Daryl, did you get in trouble for all that?
Not really. It was for a good reason. I was trying to help someone out.
So tell us what happened, now that you know the reason that she wanted to stay here.
She just messaged me and asked if she could sleep in the church. She said she had a good reason but didn't want to tell me what it was. And I've known her for quite a while, so I didn't think she had any bad intentions.
And what did you think it was?
I just figured she had a fight with her ex or something and needed somewhere to sleep. She didn't really want to talk about it, so I didn't ask any questions.
Now that I showed you the videos of Bailey, what do you think?
Those birds in the background are very loud. They were making me angry, but it does sound natural. I wasn't too worried about sound here, because with the found footage style, I think the more natural it sounds, the better. So even if there's things that in a, quote, real movie that you would cut out, I think it makes sense to have them here. It just sounds more real.
Well, let's just say I'm not going to be going into the church basement alone anytime in the near future.
I don't think any of us will. Thanks, Daryl.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm Haunted 2 has not even been released at the time I'm recording these videos, so I'm not sure what they're going to include. They have to condense 9 hours of Bailey Dawson's footage into 90 minutes, and half of the videos are Bailey crying over her friends, which I can get it, but doesn't really make for an interesting watch. I want to show you a couple things that cast doubt on Bailey's reliability. I doubt that it'll be included in I'm Haunted 2 because they're just too unbelievable. Take a look at...
So in reality, I'm Haunted 2 had been released at the time of making this. But in the story world, it had not. And these scenes that we're about to see were things that were in the script for I'm Haunted 2, and we actually shot them. They just didn't work out as well as I wanted, or in hindsight, they were just too ridiculous to put in the movie. So I ended up cutting them. But then I was like, hey, we could include those in part 3 to show that there was more to the footage that Bailey shot than what we saw. Because as Willow says, there was like 9 hours of footage. But also there was stuff that kind of leads you to believe that possibly Bailey was faking it because they don't seem so real.
this.
So obviously that was me just reaching out, and I didn't know how it was going to look. We were just kind of trying different things, and I was like, yeah, let's just set up a little light there and then see if my hand coming in looks creepy. But I think it just looks too obviously staged and isn't as scary as I wanted it to be, so we ended up cutting it for the I'm Haunted 2 movie.
I don't know what you all think of this, but it's pretty extreme. Kind of like it was faked. I mean, she did do that fake trick with her boyfriend running into the room with a hammer.
I'm freaking out. There's someone in my apartment right now.
See, I just kind of wanted there's always that little bit of doubt. It's that, okay, if Bailey's willing to fake this thing, it's like maybe the whole thing is faked. So even though it seems totally obvious that this is real, there's always that maybe it's all a hoax.
Admit it. We got you. You thought that was real.
This, however, seems a bit much. It was shot on the same night her friend Nathan was sleeping over. So there's a definite possibility they staged this. Here's another one.
Finally, we have proof that the apartment is haunted. The ritual worked. Hello, Seer.
So when I wrote this part, this was originally going to be in I'm Haunted 2, but I wanted it to be just so ridiculous and kind of silly that it's left ambiguous as to whether or not it's real. Like, it could have been, like, maybe Seer did this, but it also seems very strange and likely that Bailey just did it herself as like a joke.
What the fuck is that? Seriously.
But yeah, ultimately, when I was editing I'm Haunted 2, I was like, nah, it's just too ridiculous. I can't put it in there.
However, some of her stuff doesn't look staged, and some of it's a little bit hard to explain.
What the fuck is going on? It's definitely them. Are they fucking zombies or ghosts or what? Hey! Oof.
Jesse Cameron, Cassie Tremblay, Nathan Murray, and who Bailey calls the handyman, whose real name is Clyde Evans, are all dead. Proven fact. However, Bailey's videos were shot a few months later and clearly show them all alive and well. So, how is that possible?
Here we are.
So it kind of makes you think, like, if this was real, it's hard to tell because, as viewers, we know that this is just fake. It's all fiction. But if it was real and it's like, wow, these people came back to life, like, would you be? I think there's still part of you that would just not believe it. It would be like, no matter how much evidence there was, it's like, no, people can't come back from the dead. You just wouldn't believe it. But here we are in the cemetery again with our trusty old tombstone that we've been using ever since I'm in Love with a Dead Girl, the short film I made in 2016, which is 10 years ago now. So we've made that tombstone, and every time we want to reuse it, we just fill it in, like paint over it and carve in new text and then bring it to the cemetery. And we've used some different cemeteries. This one's in the one near Southgate Mall in Edmonton, Alberta. That's where we filmed this. So we just found a little plot here that wasn't in use and set the tombstone down. It's made out of styrofoam, so it's actually pretty light, but you could tell, like, it's not like the block is not as rough as this other one here. But it looks pretty decent, I think.
At Cassie's grave, and as you can see, it has not been dug up, so we can just assume that she's still down there. But just to be sure, I've arranged to speak with someone that works here. This is Rudy, the groundskeeper at this cemetery.
That's Craig Hameluck. He's been in probably almost every major project I've done since Hotbox. If you look around, you'll see him. He usually plays a small part in all my movies. Here he's playing the grave digger. And this, I think that shovel, I can't remember if we brought that shovel or if it was already there, but that mound of dirt was there, and I was like, oh, perfect. Let's just shoot right next to that.
Now, would you be able to tell us if anybody has tampered with Cassie Tremblay's grave, or if anybody has disturbed it since she's been buried?
No.
Simple answer.
But a few weeks ago, I saw this young lady sitting at her grave. I left her alone at first, but I was working late and I got off.
I got to admit, this is a very nice location. Even this shot here with all the graves in the background, like, I would love just to have permission to film a zombie movie here or something.
Around midnight, and she was still there, kind of acting strange.
Strange how?
She was yelling at the grave.
Was this her?
Yeah, that's her.
Plot twist. Thank you for your time. Let's go.
I guess there's more to Bailey Dawson than she's letting on. I mean, she said she slept for a whole 24 hours and missed an entire day. Who knows what she did with all that time? And Jesse accused her of showing up at his house at 2 a.m. and she denied that. So I guess the question is, what else is she lying about? We're going on a road trip to the exotic land of Calgary. I wanted to have a conversation with Amy's baby daddy, or her daughter, Amy. I'm sure you remember Amy. Anyways, Higher Universe is actually paying for our hotel and funding this whole trip, so let's hit the road.
Higher Universe did not pay for a hotel.
One of the things I want to clarify
Well, of course, there was no road trip. It was all faked.
is what happened when Bailey Dawson left Calgary. She said in one of her videos, after she fled Calgary, she didn't want to go back and stir up that hornet's nest. I intend to find the skeletons that are in Bailey's closet.
Yeah, so this shot here actually is from Calgary. We never went there, but my brother lives there, so I just messaged him and was like, hey, can you just get a shot of the downtown, like, or just Calgary skyline or something? So he got this shot here. It took him all of, like, probably a minute to get the shot to me. He just, like, went outside his front door, got the shot, sent it to me, and it was perfect. I wasn't even sure what part of Calgary he lived in. My only stipulation was I wanted to see the Calgary Tower in the shot, just so people know that it's definitely Calgary. And apparently he lives close enough that he got this shot of the Calgary Tower there. So that was the only shot in the entire movie that we did not do. And this here is just a hotel that we rented in Edmonton.
Here we are in the beautiful city of Calgary. We have a couple.
And I actually forgot to check out of this apartment or this hotel. We like rented it, or we booked it just for like one night to film this, and then I was so busy filming stuff that the next day I was like, oh shit, I forgot to check out. So it was a few hours late, but they were nice enough not to charge me for the extra day.
Couple of hours to kill before we meet with Bailey Dawson's family. So go, Donnie. I gotta get changed. Go into your own room.
And Donnie, N.A., was actually not here for most of this. This was just me holding the camera, pretending that it was N.A., because it just makes it so much easier than to try to work around someone else's schedule when I could just film it myself.
Do you mind if Amy waits in another room? I don't want her answers to be influenced by you.
Sure. Why don't you go wait in your bedroom, sweetie?
And it's funny just how much between the movies, even though it was, I think, less than a year. But this is Danielle Kravenke's daughter, Elizabeth, here. Just like how much she grew from part 2 to part 3.
I'll come get you once your trip. I'm not going to be harassed online for this, am I?
I doubt it.
Good. Bailey drove me nuts.
It's Trevor Weeb there. He's a actor, filmmaker in Edmonton, and he was in Horror Show. He might have been in, I think he was in some other things that we did, playing small parts, but he was in Horror Show as one of the church bouncers.
This haunted stuff.
Well, now's your chance to tell your side of the story. First question is about Bailey. Tell me what happened and why she moved away.
We broke up about 5 years ago. Amy was 6. And we shared.
So when I wrote I'm Haunted 2, I mentioned some stuff that happened in Bailey's background, but I was never thinking that I would one day have to expand on it. But when I decided to do this movie, I was like, oh shit, if we go and talk to her ex, he's going to have his side of the story, so we're going to have to expand on Bailey's backstory a little bit.
Custody, and everything was great. And then those stupid haunted videos came out online, and Bailey just became obsessed with it. She used to drink, too. She was totally irresponsible with it. I used to go pick up Amy from her house, and she'd be totally drunk. I told her I didn't care what she did on her own time, but she could not get hammered in front of our kid. Shortly after that, Bailey said, fuck it, I'm out of here.
So it's kind of an ongoing theme with the main characters in all the I'm Haunted movies, is that they're not always like the nicest people. And obviously in real life, no one's perfect. Everyone, has a kind of some negative aspects to their personality. But Genesis, I think even Genesis might even be the best one, it seems so far. But she also was willing to, more than willing, it almost seemed happy and gleeful to sneak into Mrs. Pearson's apartment and cut her hair off so she could put the curse on her. So there is a side to her. Maybe she was driven to it, but she wasn't the nicest person. Bailey obviously had problems with alcoholism. She wasn't the best mother. She was, not the best person. And of course, Willow here is willing to exploit all of it. And as we see in part 4, it's the same thing, that Nate has a bad side too. So it's not quite to the point where they deserve what happens to them. They deserve to get possessed, but they're not the most moral person. They're in each movie. They're not innocent victims.
And she moved to Edmonton. Amy lives with me full time, and aside from a trip or two to see her mom, she mostly just talks to her on FaceTime.
Now, I showed you a video of what looks like Amy in a church basement.
I mean, you have to admit, it does look like her.
Look, I don't know how they did it, but Bailey faked that video. Or somebody faked it.
So I think in terms of the story, that it's a doppelganger. As we get in more into this movie and in the next ones, there's the whole doppelganger thing where there's like a evil twin version. So it probably wasn't actually his daughter, because it doesn't make sense that she could somehow travel 3 hours in the middle of the night on her own and make it home. It just doesn't seem plausible. But for whatever reason, there was an evil twin who was in Edmonton tormenting Bailey.
Are you sure she didn't leave at some point without you knowing?
She's 11. I've been here every night when she goes to bed, and she has always been here in the morning. There is no way an 11-year-old with no money could make a 3-hour trip to Edmonton just to see her mom and then make it back before morning. It's just not possible.
Good point.
She got Amy's head out full of that crap too. Amy said that she saw ghosts on the video when she was talking to her mom. Honestly, I wouldn't even let Amy be in this. But I need the money. I sure as hell won't let her see it when it comes out. Don't need to be filling her head with more of that crap.
Bailey's apparently missing now. Do you have any idea where she might be?
Probably on a bender somewhere. She'll turn up eventually.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for speaking with me. You're welcome.
So when you were talking to your mom on the video a while back, you said that there was a man standing behind her. What did he look like?
Well, he was big and he had black eyes and a really scary face.
Have you seen him in real life? Amy, I have to ask you. Did you go to Edmonton to see your mom in the basement of a church?
No, my dad says it wasn't me, just someone who looks like me.
Do you know who Genesis Brady is?
Yeah, she's the lady that made the videos Mom's obsessed with.
Have you ever watched the videos?
Not really, just a couple Mom showed me. But I made a picture of the man. Do you want to see?
Absolutely. Whoa, scary. Can you hold that in front of the camera?
I think it was Elena Hlebnikova that drew that. Can't be 100% sure. It's been a while, so I forgot it. But we did plan the whole stars thing there, where if you count the number of stars in like the three little groups, that it spells seer.
Can you back up a bit?
Do you mind if I take a picture of that on my phone? Sure.
Well, that definitely adds some mystery. I guess Bailey Dawson isn't the saint that she portrayed herself to be. Good morning.
And it's so much easier filming in hotels because we just didn't tell them what we were doing, and like we didn't really have a crew. It was just us with a camera, so they didn't know that we were doing anything. Because we filmed twice, Grotesque 2 and the Motel 13 trailer, where we rented like cheap motels trying to save money. And both times, once they figured out that we had a camera crew and we were filming there, they've basically not allowed us in until we paid more. So we kind of got screwed and taken advantage of both times. So it's much easier to film found footage style where they don't know what you're doing.
Donnie and I got really drunk last night. I had a really fucked up dream. Dreamt I was walking down some freeway and I woke up and I got these bruises.
So that was Jamie Clark, our makeup artist, came in briefly just to do those bruises. I can't remember if there's anything else that we needed her for in this. I guess we'll find out as we watch it. But yeah, she came in to do those bruises.
It's really weird. Anyway, wanted to give you guys a little update. I am going to sleep until 2 minutes before checkout, and we will head back home.
We're home from our mini vacation, and while that was fun, we got to hit the ground running on our investigation from Ground Zero. Do you guys remember that video of the guy chasing Bailey in the park?
Is that guy running towards me? Let's see what happens if I move. Yep, he's coming towards me.
Well, I posted that video on all of my social media platforms hoping to find the man, and lo and behold, the man himself turned himself in.
So this part here, I never intended to do this when I wrote the scene for I'm Haunted 2. It was just supposed to be another unexplained thing where she just had some strange guy running after her in the park. But as I was writing I'm Haunted 3, I was like, okay, maybe we should just do more things to cast doubt on Bailey's story and just the whole thing, whether or not it's real or there's a rational explanation for everything rather than a paranormal one. So I was like, what if the guy who was chasing her actually had a reason to be chasing her? And this is what I came up with.
Let me introduce
That's Southgate Mall there in Edmonton
you, Randy.
in the background.
So Randy, I think the burning question that everybody's wondering is why were you chasing Bailey Dawson in broad daylight?
She broke into my car and stole my laptop.
What?
I woke up that morning and my bag was stolen with my laptop in it. I was watching my doorbell cam footage and I saw her do it.
And funny enough, for I'm Haunted 4, originally in the script, there was a scene at the end where the Nate character, he was going to get arrested. I ended up cutting that part and simplifying it. But I was going to have one of the cops was Randy here. So it turned out this guy is actually a police officer. But I ended up cutting that whole scene. So now it just basically ends with this.
Well, viewers, in an I'm Haunted 3 exclusive, we have that doorbell cam footage right here.
So this scene here, I actually wanted to film it like more like a real doorbell camera, but like on a house. But Danielle, unfortunately, was in an accident, and she lives far away from Edmonton. So to travel here and to work out her schedule, it was just harder to do, and we had to film it at the same time as we were doing other scenes. So we had to film it at this particular location. So obviously, this is not the doorbell camera from a house like it's supposed to be. It's just filming in a parking lot from a few parking spots down, and then I just added like a fisheye lens to it, made it black and white. But I thought people were gonna point this out, how this does not look like real doorbell cam footage, but no one's actually mentioned it. And Danielle's leg was in major pain as well, so we couldn't film this a lot. We had to do it quickly and only do it once. But so this scene here was not seen in the last movie, but it was hinted that Bailey's character in I'm Haunted 2 missed some days. So she was out there doing something in this 24-hour period that she has no recollection of. And here we get a little piece of what she was doing, is that she was under Sears' influence and went to steal this guy's laptop for some reason, and we never find out what it is. But like we find out later in this movie that things kind of happen according to Sears' will. So he's doing something, and we never figure out the whole story. But obviously, stealing this particular laptop was an important part of whatever the hell Sear was doing.
Later, I was walking to the mall and I saw her sitting in the park. I went to go chase her, but she got away.
Well, viewers, I think we could add thief to one of the many other things that Bailey Dawson is.
I just love how she's just totally ripping on Bailey Dawson.
Thank you for clearing that up, Randy. And I hope you get your laptop back. Remember this house? This is the house that Cassie was renting when Bailey did the ritual. And apparently, when Jesse went in to use the bathroom, he became possessed too.
So luckily we were able to get this house back to film in, because if we weren't able to, the story for this movie would have been 100% different. But I think it worked perfectly that we were able to get it again. So Willow, and also it wouldn't make sense like why that Willow would just happen to be living at the same house as before, so it made sense that she purposely moved in just for the sake of doing this documentary. So it worked out perfectly for the story.
You still filming?
Yeah, and something finally happened. My car won't start. Can you boost it?
Yeah, but I kind of gotta go pee. Is her door still open?
Yeah, for sure. Just be quiet, she's still sleeping.
I spoke to the owner of the house, and they said after Cassie died that they've been in the house many times, and nothing strange has happened to them in the house or anywhere.
So I guess in terms of the story, that could mean that perhaps nothing has happened to them yet. Because as we see in the first Time Haunted movie, that basically anyone that goes into the house that's possessed, or where the possessed person's living, or where Sear is doing his business, however you want to refer to it, that it spreads to them. And Blythe even says, like, oh, this whole thing's spreading like an STI. So basically, if you have any contact with someone this is happening to, it starts happening to you. So it could be that nothing's happened to this person yet, or it could be that Sear is selective about who he's doing this to, and Blythe and Genesis Brady played a bigger part, and Sear really wanted to, mess with their network of friends and family. So he was kind of using them more, where perhaps the owners of this house weren't needed to do whatever Sear's trying to do, so nothing happened to them. I wanted to leave a lot open to interpretation, because I find a lot of, especially modern horror movies, like everything is just explained too much, everything's wrapped up, there's just no room for anything beyond what's in the story. So I wanted to leave it where things don't make sense, they don't add up, things that happen and you don't know if they fit in with everything else, or you don't know the reason. All you know is that Sear's doing something, and it kind of make you lose your mind, because things would happen and you're like, is this just a random coincidence, or is this part of the paranormal stuff? And you never quite know what's going on. All you know is that Sear is operating behind the scenes somewhere, doing something, and all of a sudden everything is just suspect. Every person you see is like, are they looking at me? Or it just kind of, it leaves it open, and I think makes it much scarier.
Just to be sure and to add a little spice to the movie, I rented the house for a month. I struck up a deal with the landlord, and our universe is paying for it. I still got my own place to rent. Let's go outside.
Looks like all the same furniture is still here. Comes with the house. So do the cats.
Yeah, we had that issue that the owner of the house had the cats living there, and it was kind of hard to get rid of them. So I was like, well, let's just write it in that the cats stayed in the house. And funny enough, the cats end up actually playing a little bit of a role later on.
That's the same furniture where Bailey and Cassie both did the ritual.
Obscurum, Umbra, Infernum, Clamor, Mortis Aura, Seriously, Cass?
Ready to go upstairs?
Let's do it.
So pretty sure that scene there, we just got NA to record his, are we going to go upstairs? That line, we just got him to record it on his phone and email it to me because it was me holding the camera here. Pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
The last time we saw these stairs, Bailey was in for a shocking surprise.
Cassie?
In this room, this is where Bailey found her 4 friends dead. Donnie is gonna live with me here for a month to record any paranormal activity.
Are you taking this room?
Why? You want it?
Hell no.
Fine, I'll take it. I'm not scared.
I tracked down a woman named Teresa. She's the sister of the guy that came to fix Bailey Dawson's water.
So there we have Jordy Cheeseman, who played the handyman in I'm Haunted 2.
Oh, no cameras, please.
Sorry.
He's one of the people that killed himself with Bailey's friends and seemingly came back from the dead. We're here at this park to meet his sister and see what she has to say about that. Donnie! What the fuck?
Yeah, so this part was an idea I had in my head for quite a while. I just wanted to write something in a horror movie where 2 people were somewhere together and then one of them just started like walking away and just ignoring the other one, just started walking away and then disappeared. I just thought that'd be something. I didn't know how to fit it in. It was probably a couple years that was in my head until finally I was making this movie and I was like, oh, that would work perfectly here.
I go to my car for like a minute and now he's walking away from me. Donnie!
So this footage here is actually sped up by quite a bit. I've always found that when people run in movies, sometimes it just seems like they're not running fast enough. And of course we had to time it, had to look like she was running, but we couldn't run fast enough that we would catch up to NA, who was just walking away. And I might have done some camera trickery here to make it look like he disappeared.
What the fuck?
So I think he's actually hiding behind this little metal thing here. I told him, either that or maybe around the corner, I told him to like walk slowly until you're just out of sight of the camera and then just run and hide so it looks like you had disappeared.
Where the fuck did he go? I drove all around and can't find him. I tried messaging him, I tried calling him, but he's not answering. What the fuck? Oh, I think that's Teresa. Guess I should just do the interview. Hi, Teresa.
So here we have Jen Robinson. You'd probably recognize her from Grotesque 1 and Grotesque 2.
Teresa, thanks for taking the time today. I'm sorry about your brother.
Thank you.
We're going to start off by showing the viewers some of the videos that you sent to me of him. People know him as the handyman, but his real name is Clyde Evans.
We watch,
So So this is Jordy and his real life son Sheldon here. I needed something to make it look like, if this was his sister, she would have just some sort of videos from the past of him. So I asked Jordy, like, can you just take some videos? And he was hanging out with his son one day playing frisbee or doing whatever they were doing, and just captured some video for us.
Either that or Grace Still Plays, or Orville.
His son was actually one of the main characters, the main boy in Markings of Murder, a movie that I wrote the screenplay for, and it was directed by Jarvis Greiner, who appears in this movie later.
Okay, here it comes. Oh, that could have been a better throw. Hot day for frisbee.
I know, right? Our hands are hurting.
Maybe you could give us a brief description of Clyde?
Clyde was a great brother and father. Then one day he calls me, he says he's had this revelation. He needs to go away for some time. That was the last I heard from him until the police.
Originally, this scene was going to be much longer. There was just more dialogue here, kind of explaining how Clyde, the handyman's descent into whatever was going on with him and Sear. But just for the sake of getting through the story quicker, I cut out most of it.
Police told me that he'd been found poisoned with those 3 guys he didn't even know.
Do you have any idea what he was doing with them?
No, I've never met them in my life. No one in my family knows who they are.
Teresa, I know this might be hard for you to see, but I wanted to show you the video and get your thoughts on it.
That's funny I don't know if I pointed this out in the last movie, but see.
I wanted to show you the video and get your thoughts on it.
Pause it right in the right moment. Yeah, right there. I don't know if I brought this up in the last commentary, but you can see Jamie, our makeup artist's makeup kit right there. I'll take the blame for that. I should have been paying attention. I think I was the one holding the camera, so not a big deal. And it's so quick, I don't think anyone else noticed.
Oh, fuck. When was this taken?
About a month ago.
Clyde died in May.
I know.
What are you trying to tell me?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
That's not Clyde. Look at his eyes. What are you trying to do?
I'm just trying to
Jordy's pretty good at looking intense when he wants.
figure out what's going on.
This is not Clyde. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm leaving.
So this whole scene was shot at a park on the west side of Edmonton. We were filming at one of our actors' houses for a different scene. And just to keep things quick and time efficient, we just went and found the nearest park we could that didn't have a lot of people in it. And this was like on a Sunday, I think, so there was no school in session. So we just went and filmed at the school.
I don't want to offend anybody, but now I'm just as confused as her how that video was taken after Clyde died.
This might have been the very first thing we shot. I think the very first thing we did in the movie was one of these scenes of just her by herself in the living room.
I've been doing some research and I found 3 possibilities of how Bailey's friends supposedly came back from the dead. The first one could be ghosts. The second one could be demons trying to impersonate humans or doppelgangers. And the third could be some sort of time dimension glitch.
So it actually turns out to be all 3, but this is where we really get into the doppelganger thing. It was kind of hinted at in the earlier movies, but we really get into it here.
I messaged Johnny and he hasn't been answering me, so I messaged his roommate.
Hey, are you cool if I film you?
So here's Jarvis Greiner, who I mentioned earlier. He's a director and producer here from Edmonton as well, and he directed Markings of Murder and John 3:16.
Is he still here?
Yeah, I think so.
Have you noticed anything weird happening recently?
No, nothing like what you were talking about.
Donnie,
Are you in there?
I think he's been in there since yesterday.
So another thing you might notice is that this house is the same place where Nate lives in I'm Haunted 4. So it kind of brings back that whole thing about once the property's haunted, anyone who goes there is affected. So at some point, Donnie moved out or disappeared or whatever, and Nate moved in, and that's when Nate's troubles began.
Donnie, are you awake? It's Willow. Okay, I'm coming in.
Oh, he's not here.
I mean, I didn't see him leave.
Did he go through the window?
But you'd have to remove the glass. I mean...
Okay, I'm just gonna grab the SD card from his camera. It's just that seeing Donnie completely oblivious to my calls, it just reminds me of how Bailey saw Jesse walking into the woods.
Jesse! Jesse! Where the fuck is he going? I called his name. He never even looked back.
I found this guy online who's somewhat of an outspoken skeptic of the paranormal. His name is Court Bristow. I want this movie to show both sides of the conversation. Hi, Court. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to speak with me.
It's my pleasure, Willow.
Sir, we have Jeff Scott, who's a great supporter of ours and a very good actor. He's actually from Arizona, which is quite far from where we are up here in Alberta, Canada. He actually, I think he met Elizabeth Chamberlain, who was the main character in the First Time Haunted movie, and she's Mildred Moyer in the Grotesque movies. He met her on a movie set down in the States somewhere and watched our movies and really liked them, and he's been a fan of us ever since and a friend to us, and he's actually driven up here a couple times to hang out with us. So he's a great guy and a good actor too, so kind of in exchange for all his help and just trying to return all the nice things he's done for us, we give him a role in all our movies. So it's awesome that he's willing to do that for us.
So I guess we should get right down to it. Why don't you believe in the paranormal?
That is getting right down to it. I understand why people want to believe in such things. We all want explanations for the unexplained. We all want answers to the big questions in life. Why are we here? What happens when we die? Unfortunately, this desire for answers leads people to believe in ridiculous things that have no basis in fact.
So what about all the ghosts?
So the cats here, people have mentioned them a few times, and we did not stage anything with the cats. We basically just let them roam free, and kind of, it's kind of nice if they're in the shot. It just adds a little something to it, and cats are known for kind of just being around you when you're doing stuff, so it would make sense that the cat would jump up here. And as we'll see later, there's a part where the cat looks like it's doing something that it's supposed to be doing, but it was a complete coincidence. But we'll get to that when it comes to it.
Sightings and things like that over the centuries. Some of them have been well documented by credible people.
Well, have they?
Supposedly. Are you saying all these people are lying?
Well, some, not all. A lot of the time, probably most of the time, there's some rational explanation for the phenomenon. Other times, it's just people seeing what they want to see. People seek out patterns. They attribute human motivations to situations where there aren't any. A door slams, it must be a ghost.
That makes sense, but in relation to these I'm haunted videos, you have to admit there's some strange things going on.
Anytime your only proof is the word of an eyewitness, you need to be skeptical. This Genesis Brady woman shot all those videos herself, most of it just claiming to have these strange experiences with no way to verify it.
She got a lot on video.
Is it really that hard to fake a door slamming or cupboard opening or lights going on and off?
It's not when you have the director laying on the floor opening the doors.
Then where is she? And where is Bailey Dawson?
I have no idea. After Blair Witch came out, the producers made the cast lay low for a while to help with the marketing campaign.
I get that, but it wasn't Genesis Brady who sold the footage to Higher Universe, and I sold Bailey Dawson's video to them, so she doesn't get anything from it. So how are they benefiting?
I couldn't tell you what their motivations are.
So how do you explain those 4 people who were suddenly back from the dead? And their deaths weren't faked. There's definitive scientific proof.
See, now that one's easy. She shot all the videos of them before they died.
Yeah, but I checked the dates of the videos they were shot, and they were shot after they died.
I'm sure you could find a way to change the date on a video if you really wanted to.
I don't think she did.
So that's kind of the whole thing. I just wanted to show the other side to it, that there would be a lot of doubt around this. Even people make fun of Bailey for being stupid and doing this ritual when there was like all the evidence from the first movie. But I think no matter how much evidence there was, I think people in general would just still refuse to believe that it's real. And it's like no matter how much proof there was, there's always going to be that tiny bit of doubt that it's like, well, they could have changed the metadata on there. There's always something that it could be a maybe. Just anything to prove to themselves, at least, that this is not real, because some people just would not want to believe it.
Put it this way. What's more believable? That she changed the dates or that 4 people came back from the dead?
Okay, and what about all those people who died? That wasn't faked.
They all died of real causes. Nothing related to the unexplained.
But all those people, all of them, related to Genesis Brady somehow. That is one insane coincidence.
Yes, it is. But that still doesn't make it paranormal. Don't believe everything you watch.
Okay, that guy was making me mad, but he's not wrong. Is it possible this whole thing is one elaborate hoax?
Hey everyone, this is my friend Mike. I told him about everything.
So Mike there is played by Stefan Sakanja. He's a really good actor here from Edmonton. I met him at, I think it was the Grotesque premiere. He came up and introduced himself. You might recognize him. He was in Grotesque 2. He was also one of the band guys, along with N.A., who plays Donnie in this movie. When Mildred brings him the gas, he's one of those guys. And he was also very, very briefly in Horror Show. He played Elizabeth Chamberlain's character's brother. And I don't even know if you see his face. You might only kind of see him from behind or from the side or something. But this is the first time working with him where he had actually played a character and had a lot of lines beyond just one brief scene.
Everything that I'm doing, and I invited him over today as a test.
Yeah, we're gonna see if I get possessed.
Maybe not possessed, just if your house gets haunted. Mike's gonna
Stefan reminds me of a young Jeff Daniels.
hang out around here for the night, and then he's gonna update me each day to see if there's anything strange going on. Then maybe we can rule out the house as the cause for Donnie acting strangely.
This is the room where those people poison themselves?
Yeah, I'll show you the video after.
Creepy. And you're sleeping in this room?
Like a baby.
It's kind of funny. Stefan I didn't really give him much instruction on how to play the character, but he played him a bit more kind of sarcastic and touchy, just a bit more like of a negative slant than I'd imagined in my head. In my head, I kind of wrote it as friendly, but it's kind of funny that he interpreted it as in a different way that I think works. Like, he's not quite a jerk, but just a little bit more than I had intended. But it makes for a good character.
And nothing scary has happened to you in this house?
Not a thing, but I do wish I knew what Donnie was going through. That would put my mind at ease a little bit. So Mike and I just had a great idea.
It was my idea.
Well, it's my movie, so it's my idea.
That doesn't sound fair.
Too bad. I was showing Mike some of Bailey Dawson's videos, and I was telling him how Donnie walking away from me reminded me of Bailey's boyfriend walking away from her and ignoring her. So we decided that we're going to go to that spot where Bailey's boyfriend walked into the woods and see if Donnie's there maybe. It's a long shot, but it's worth investigating. Ready to go?
Let's do it.
Yeah, so this area here in the River Valley in Edmonton, I don't know how many projects I've filmed here, like a lot. It was just, it was near my old place when we did the first time haunted movie. And it was just somewhere where I kind of knew the area a bit, and there was usually not a lot of people or vehicles around. So it just became my kind of go-to place. Like, the River Valley is huge. Like, it goes like right through the middle of the city. So we could have gone anywhere, but then we would have to go out and scout and explore different areas and try to find some place that wasn't super busy. And this place, it just works, and it's right near the river, and just within like a few minute walk in each direction, we have little bridges and the river and just all the kind of stuff you need. So we've been filming here like probably 10 years of just different areas, and you wouldn't even know it's the same place. So, but yeah, we went here at night, and I think we had to wait a long time for the sun to set because I wanted this to be dark. And sometimes even when it's like almost dark, but it's still too bright, so we had to wait until the sun was all the way down, which of course brings in a problem because there's a sign up that says you can't be in the park past like 10 or 11 p.m., whatever it is. So we usually bank on, what are the odds of security coming by? They did come by one time. We were filming something years ago, and we just told them that we would be quick, and they let us do it. But that's always a concern.
This looks like the right place. CK.
Yeah, and I bought these flashlights specifically to use for this scene, and it just turned out that for whatever reason, the best, brightest one, that light that went the furthest, was this square one.
There's a path. And that's where her boyfriend walked into those trees.
You been drinking tonight, ma'am?
Quit it. Okay, give me the flashlight and you take the camera and you film me.
What? What if I don't want to film?
Oh, it's my movie. I should be the star of the film.
Okay, well, if I'm working...
And there's a lot of instances in this series of people copying what they've seen done in the other movies. Especially like with this scene. They do it because they saw Bailey's boyfriend walk into the woods in the last movie. So they're like, hey, let's go down and just go where he went. Maybe that'll turn into something. And then in part 5, as you'll see if you watch that one, when Elizabeth's character goes with Gavin into the woods, they're like, hey, maybe we should go do that same thing that they did because people have done it before and it's always something interesting's happening. So it's just something interesting that certain patterns repeat themselves.
Working for you now that I want the same pay that Donnie's getting.
No deal.
No fair.
See, when I wrote this, it was more like playful banter between each other, like they weren't serious, but Stefan played it a bit more serious, which works just as well, I think. It's a different way of portraying the character, but that's kind of part of filmmaking. When you work with actors, sometimes they bring something that you never imagined, and sometimes it works out even better than you thought it would.
Why are you walking so fast?
What's the matter? You scared?
No. It's just I don't have a flashlight, and I can't see where I'm walking, and I'm probably going to step in a gopher hole or trip and like twist my ankle.
Well, watch where you're going.
Do you know where you're going?
Not really, but this does look like the place where Bailey went, but it looks different at night.
Ow! You're getting branches in my face.
Just keep up then.
It says the girl with the flashlight.
So yeah, we had to be really careful because it was super dark. Even with the flashlight, I didn't want to go too deep into the woods there and have someone get injured. So we just walked in a little ways, and then we went to a different area and pretended it was a couple minutes later and they were deeper in. So here we have...
Whoa.
There was no real intent here. I just wanted to have it that there was some weird people out there, but there is a strong hint that these are Sear's minions, because Sear appears to have all sorts of people. In the first movie, we had the people that were walking to Genesis' apartment. There's people appearing there, seeing strange people. Kind of Bailey had the same thing. So it's kind of playing on that Sear is moving people around like pieces on a chessboard, and we don't know exactly what he's doing, but for some reason there's a bunch of them out here, and they're just not really doing anything, but they're not acting normally, so they're maybe not quite possessed, but they're kind of under the, kind of like we saw with the Kevin guy in the last movie in I'm Haunted 2, who was in some sort of a trance and then he snapped out of it. So it's assumed these people here are also in a trance. And on the left there, that's Steve Pace, who's a filmmaker in Edmonton as well.
Sorry to bother you. We're just checking out the area. Oh shit. Don't mean to bother you. We're just heading out now.
So this bridge here that they just crossed over, you also see that bridge in the short horror film I did called The Getch. It's on this YouTube channel here, and it's also part of the Ezra and Gore Girl horror anthology. So if you see the little bridge in there that the monster crosses, that's this bridge.
Do you know where you're going?
I think.
Yeah, why didn't we just go back the way we came?
Because that's where we saw those freaky people.
fair. Yeah, I think I hear traffic up ahead. That might be the white mud.
That's where we're going.
Okay, then go.
Well, then, why are you asking me if I know where we're going?
Because you looked confused. Do you hear something? Growling?
No.
So originally the plan was in the script I had it that Mike mentions here in a bit that he thinks he saw like a wolf. It was going to be that we saw a face in there and I was going to buy like a wolf's mask or something like that, and then we're going to put it little ways back in the tree so you could see it there and we can catch a glimpse of it. But I could never find a way to make it look not super fake. So we just scrapped that and had it that he saw something that we don't see on camera.
Something's coming.
Well, that was exhilarating. We just escaped something that was chasing us, if it was chasing us.
No.
So this was filmed before we did the other scene, so it's noticeably lighter outside. So I guess maybe we could think that they just were out there all night and the sun is rising, but it's actually because we shot it out of order.
It was. I saw it coming right for us. It looked like a wolf or something.
Let's just go home. Well, that was a fun little excursion. Mike went home, and I'll get an update from him tomorrow to see if anything strange has happened. As for me, this house has been quiet and peaceful, just as it has been since I moved in. Okay, I just made an astonishing discovery. I was scrolling through the news headlines, and I saw an article on Jace Bakari, Bailey Dawson's friend, who killed that girl whose body Bailey found, who
So yeah, this part here wasn't originally going to be in the script. It wasn't until I just kind of started piecing the story together, and there were things in the last two movies that I didn't necessarily plan for it to have any deeper meaning. But I was like, hey, if you kind of start connecting the dots, maybe it does have a deeper meaning, or at least someone could think that it does. So I wrote this part in here where she's like, wait a minute, like this person from this part was in this in this movie doing this thing, and kind of pieces it together. And it was hard to write because I didn't want to confuse people. And even Maya here was like a bit confused about what I was trying to get across. So I had to rewrite it a bunch of times until I just cut out all but the very necessary information. And I think when we just add in the pictures, I think people get the point. Even if they can't exactly follow it, they'll generally get the gist of it.
Allegedly killed her.
Hey!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Everyone, meet my friend Chase. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And actually, if you notice in this last scene here,
killed her.
Hey!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
this guy right here, that's Steve Pace, who I just mentioned was in the scene where they were walking out at night and they saw him standing there with those freaky people. In reality, in movie making world, we just had Steve be an extra here, but I guess within the context of the story, maybe that means that everyone in this bar started getting haunted, and they became a part of the larger story too.
Everyone, meet my friend Chase. Oh my god. Oh my...
I'm really proud of our work on that dead body. I think it looks pretty good. That was just Eureka Aragon, who played Cindy Spretzer in Grotesque 2. We just had her lay there, and then our makeup artist, Jamie Clark, just put some coloring on her legs to make it look like she'd been dead for a short time, but I think it looks real.
God. Is that... Oh my god, it's a body. No.
It says Mr. Bakari was denied bail, but the article showed a picture of the young woman who was killed. Her name is Shay Cruz. Now, check this out. I was rewatching the video of where Bailey Dawson follows her boyfriend into the woods, and I saw this.
Yeah, so that's Eureka on the right, and that's our makeup artist, Jamie, on the left there. I originally just had it. I just needed some other people to be walking through the area, and we just finished getting the part where we found the dead body. So I was like, hey, just walk through the shot. But now if you add it into the larger story, it kind of has a deeper meaning.
I think that girl on the right is her. And there's more. Check out this video that Bailey took after the door slammed.
We're alarming, but given the circumstances, yeah. What was that? Did you do that, Seer? Must have blown the door shut. Give me a freaking heart attack. Is that guy staring at me?
And I still find this so weird. This is from I'm Haunted 2. This guy down here at the bottom, this is not one of our people. He just happened to be standing there. He was like talking on the phone or something, but it looked like he was frozen. He was just like standing there, barely moving, and that's me standing there. And I remember Danielle, who plays Bailey, was up on the balcony of the apartment, or she was in the window of the apartment. And I was like, come on, quickly film, because there's this weird guy just standing here. It looks like it's going to be part of the movie or something, but ultimately he walked away.
I think that's her too, right next door to where Bailey lived. And not only that, but the guy she's with, he looks like that guy that Bailey saw outside Cassie's house the morning after they did the ritual.
What? Wait a minute.
So that's me again. See, originally I didn't intend to play any big part in this. I just was like, hey, I just wanted to have it that there's these weird guys always staring at her, kind of like there was in the first movie, also played by me. But it got to the point where and it was easier just to get me, instead of getting another actor to come out just to stand on the street, I was like, you know what, I'm here, I'll do it. But I did it enough times that I was like, wait a minute, and as you'll see in part 5, I wrote myself in as the character Holden, because they talk about this Holden character who's supposed to be from the future, some other dimension, and he's kind of like Seer's enemy. He's trying to help the characters in the story somehow. And then we find out that it's actually me. It's kind of like I'm in the real world helping the people in the movie world. It gets very meta and confusing. Some people liked it, some didn't. But if you watch I'm Haunted 5, you'll know what I mean. But while we were doing these parts, I was just some guy standing there. But Willow here is starting to piece the story together.
Who is that? Nobody, I guess.
And that same guy was at the bar when Bailey and Chase Bakari were there, and it looks like he came out of the bathroom with Bailey.
Again, that was not intentional when we originally shot it. I just wanted to make it look like there was more people in the bar, and we had a bunch of extras sitting there, and I was like, well, maybe someone should walk through the shot, so I just did it myself. But now when you look back, it's like, oh, all these little things start to add up.
So what the fuck? Who is that guy? It all just seems too coincidental. Chase Bakari murders some girl who was seen at Bailey's apartment with some man that Bailey was in the bathroom with at a bar while Chase Bakari was there, and Bailey was the one who discovered her body? Am I wrong for thinking that's pretty fucked up? I can't even wrap my head around that. Holy shit, guys, things just keep getting weirder. Do you remember that drawing that Bailey Dawson's daughter drew when she kept seeing that weird guy? She drew those stars above his head. They're grouped into 3 sections. There's 3 on the left, then 25 in the middle, then 18 on the right. If you correspond those numbers with the letters in the alphabet, CYR, it spells Seer. Maybe Amy did it on purpose. Clever kid if she did. Mike is still acting normal, so setting foot into the house has not affected him, as expected.
At least not yet.
I think I just saw someone walk past the window. I didn't really get a...
So I ended up cutting out a lot of this. She does a full loop around the house, and when we filmed it, it didn't seem like it was that long, but when you put it together, there was a lot of it, and it was pretty dark out, so you couldn't see, so I just cut it to make it quicker.
Good look of him, but I swear I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Okay, well, I guess there isn't anyone. This is really fucked up. I don't even know how I got here. I need to conserve phone battery. I'll explain when I get home. I don't know if I'm losing my mind. I don't know how to explain this, but last night I went to bed, everything was normal. And then all of a sudden I wake up and I'm lying in the middle of a field.
So this is basically her having the same problem that Bailey and Genesis had, where they started missing time, or like whole days would go by and they have no recollection of it. So during that time, Seer was basically taking them over to do something. And here in this movie, it kind of escalates eventually, as you'll see, to her traveling through time and space. So for whatever reason, she goes out to this particular location for some reason that we don't fully understand. And then she has no recollection of how she got there and had to walk home.
Fully dressed, and I have no idea how I got there. I remember walking around the city, and it was like the 1940s, and I have just brief flashes in my mind, and it was a dream, but it felt so real. And I started walking, and I tried to flag someone down, but nobody stopped. It took me 5 fucking hours to get home. It was kind of like that thing that happened in Calgary when I had that realistic dream, or it felt real, like I was gone for such a long time, and
So we're starting to see that she was under the impression that she'd been in this house, like nothing had been happening to her, when in reality, like things had been happening to her for quite a while now, ever since the beginning. So obviously she plays a very important part in the I'm Haunted lore, probably even more important than Genesis Brady, because as you'll see at the end of the next movie, I'm Haunted 4, she's kind of like the leader, whereas Genesis and Bailey are minions. So we don't know how long Seer has had his claws in her. We know that technically if she went back in time, that depending on what time travel rules you use, that basically back in our time, her entire life, Seer would have been aware of her and could have been grooming her for his own purposes ever since that time. So we just don't know. But she's now kind of starting to realize, like, hey, something like this happened before. Maybe this is not new.
I got out to that field, and I just didn't know how I got there. I don't know if I walked or fucking teleported or what. Breaking news! Chase Bakari, Bailey Dawson's friend, who killed that woman, has apparently escaped from the remand center. The police are searching for him, and I've never met him, and as far as I'm aware, he doesn't know who I am, but we're kind of both mixed up in this craziness, so I kind of feel like he's under some paranormal control or something. The deadbolt on my door is going to be locked until he's caught. I swear I thought I heard something like someone laughing. I don't hear it right now, but it sounds like it's coming from downstairs. I don't hear it anymore, but maybe it's just my paranoia playing tricks on me.
So I think there, if you noticed, I'm just going to back it up a tiny bit here.
I don't hear it right now, but it sounds like it's coming from downstairs.
So when she walks out of the doorway, the door is left like wide open. But then when she turns around and comes back, it's closed.
I don't hear it anymore, but maybe it's just my paranoia playing tricks on me.
So that's just a minor thing that I don't think a lot of people notice that, and she didn't notice it, but it was something.
I'm trying to be proactive and do some investigating by myself. Back at the place where Mike and I saw those weird people.
I think it was while we were filming this scene that I found a porcupine. There was like a little porcupine walking around, which is funny because if you've seen Grotesque 2, you know there's an infamous porcupine scene. So I actually followed it with the camera and got it on video, but I'm not sure if I still have that anywhere or not.
But doesn't look like there's any sign of people here. Another dead end, I guess.
Yeah, Jordy just had that light that changed colors on his stairs there, and I thought it looked kind of cool, so I just kept it in.
I heard knocking. It could have been nothing, but it might not have been nothing. You know, this is a lot scarier when it's happening to you and you're not watching it happen to somebody else.
you hear that growl there. I think some of the sound effects I just did myself with my own voice, and others I just found like free sound effects on the internet somewhere. I can't remember what that was, but I just added a little bit in there to just add to the effect.
Or just fucking swung open.
I remember we had to film that a few times. I'm pretty sure that was me laying on the floor again, slamming the door, but just trying to get the timing of it right and her reaction. We did it a few times. So that voice there, it said "come home" or something like that. That was one of our Indiegogo contributors that helped us get this movie made. Was kind enough to do that, so he got to have his voice as a ghost in the movie.
I don't understand why all of this is happening. I didn't do the ritual, and no one else has been affected since being in this house. I just don't understand why all of this is happening all of a sudden.
So obviously, like, the house is just still haunted from the last movie, and sometimes, as Bailey found out, it just takes a while to get going. Like, Bailey did the ritual in her own house with her own hair, and then it was like 2 days later or something, a few days, and nothing had happened, and she assumed it didn't work. So she thought maybe you couldn't do it to yourself. So she went to this house and did it to her friend Cassie. When the fact is, it did work in both places. It just sometimes takes a while for like the force or whatever it is to like build up, the energy to build up for the weird stuff to start happening. And it obviously is just, this house must still be haunted from the last movie. And Willow, for some reason, Seer just guided her throughout her life to make sure that she wound up here so that she could fulfill her destiny.
That chair totally just moved on its own. I got it on camera that time.
And we did that with just, I think we had some fishing line tied around there. It worked pretty well. You couldn't see it. We've tried to do effects like that before, just really cheap practical effects with fishing line, and sometimes you could see it because it reflects the light, but I think it worked pretty well here. And I think we lucked out. I think I pulled it, and as I pulled it, it came off or something because you can't even see it there.
Shit. Someone's here. Better not be Chase Bakari. Who the fuck is that?
Oh, hey, I'm Steve. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's Crazy Dave Williams from Edmonton here. If you're from Edmonton, there's a good chance you know him. He's quite a popular local guy. He's in a band. He's been in a few different bands. Some of them actually were quite successful, and he's just a great guy to work with. He just brings everything to every role he's in. He's just reliable. He's helpful. He'll promote the hell out of everything, and he's just a great guy to work with. And I met him like years ago at he was the DJ at anyone from Edmonton of a certain age, you might remember the King's Night pub. It was like a rock bar. He was the DJ there, and his band would play concerts there sometimes. And so I kind of met him then, but I didn't really know him well. And it wasn't until one of my movie premieres, so I was like premiering some of my short films or something at a theater here, and he showed up and he's like, "Hey, remember me?" And he's like, "Yeah, if you ever want me in the movie or whatever, let me know." And this was right before Hotbox, and he's kind of the perfect character for Hotbox if you've seen that movie. So I was like, so I sent him the script, asked if he wanted to be in it, and he was down. And I think he's been in like every project I've done since then. I always try to figure out a way to fit him in just because he's such an interesting guy and he's just cool to have in there playing something. But this role here, it is up for debate whether or not has anything to do with all the paranormal stuff going on, or if he's just some normal guy. He's dressed oddly, so it just seems like he's got to be something. Like Seer had to have steered him here somehow, but he's kind of acting normally. Like he's not acting like he's possessed or in any sort of trance. So, but again, he does walk by the window and look at her. So it could be he's just a strange guy who doesn't understand people's private property and boundaries. So in my mind, he doesn't have anything to do with the larger story, but then again, it's open to interpretation, so if anyone else sees the matter differently, no one can say that they're wrong.
I think I might have the wrong house. Does Gwen live here?
No.
Oh, okay. You wouldn't know where she lives, do you?
No, sorry.
Slams the door in his face.
I don't like being rude, but I'm alone in this house and I don't know what that man's capable of. What am I supposed to do? Just sit around and wait for paranormal shit to happen? I'm gonna text Mike and see if he can come over. Mike hasn't replied yet, but it's late and it's been 2 hours, so it's not surprising. Just why is this all happening now? Like, why me? Just got back from the grocery
Why? Well, I mean, to be honest, you did try to make a documentary based on all of this, so you couldn't expect not to get involved somehow.
store. I picked up some snacks. I'm having a little gathering tonight. It's Friday, so we're gonna have a little party. Partly because I just want to have people over and don't really want to be alone in the house. And if anything happens, we'll have witnesses.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
Phoebe.
So that's Kelsey Volker. She was in the first Grotesque movie. She was the one that got the bowling ball dropped on her head. And she played the prostitute Trixie in Grotesque 2.
Say hi.
That's all I do.
There's Jason Bannister there, who's played Clobell in Grotesque 2. And then we have Ashton, who was on the left there, Ashton Dickey, who was the Coach Hicks in the first Grotesque, the don't not just do it guy. And then David McIntyre there on the right, who was, can't remember his character's name in Grotesque 2, but he's the guy that got tied to the tree and then squeezed.
Benjamin, guys.
Oh yeah.
You gotta love these raging parties that take place at like 2 in the afternoon.
Hey, how come Donnie's not here?
He's been acting weird lately.
I thought I saw him a couple of days ago around my place.
In Sherwood Park?
May not have been him though. I tried calling his name, but he didn't answer.
Hey, where's Mike?
I just saw him go downstairs.
I'm gonna get him. Pour him a shot. Hey, Mike, are you downstairs?
And if you'll notice right here, you see me walk by, and that was intentional. It was supposed to show that Holden, or I guess it wasn't Holden at this part, but this guy you'd been seeing makes an appearance. It's very, very brief. Just quick flash. So it's kind of like I knew eventually we might explain who this guy / me is. I just didn't really know at the time, but I was like, if you just see me in the background, people might be able to go back and look through the movies and point me out and then kind of piece it together, which we ended up doing in I'm Haunted 5.
Hey, Mike?
Yeah?
Come down and do shots with us. It's 4 a.m. Mike is crashing over. He's passed out upstairs in the guest room. It was a fun little distraction.
Willow, can you come here a sec?
Sure.
So we did that part. We just saw him walk there, and then he just like ran quickly to lay down. And then here, where we see his doppelganger, we just did a quick cut as Willow's turning around and passes the door frame. I just had her keep the camera close to the door, just so we had a you just see it as like the door frame wipes across the screen. We had a good cut point, and then have him standing there. And it worked out fairly well.
Mike, what did you want? Okay.
Come over here. And that "come over here" voice was a Indiegogo voice again. And I kind of like that too, how the cat wasn't there a second ago, and all of a sudden the cat's there. Someone brought up the fact that maybe the cat, it was like some kind of a, what do you call it? Like a, can't remember the word. It could change into human and change into animal. I don't think that's the case, but it is kind of cool that the cat just happened to jump in there at that time.
Mike, wake up! I woke up Mike to keep me company down here, but he's already passed out. I guess the story wasn't scary enough. As for me, it's gonna take me...
I like how Mike, she's like, Mike, I just saw like your evil twin that was like in the hallway. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going back to sleep.
a couple more of these to finally fall asleep. I guess I really am turning into Genesis Brady. It happened again.
So yeah, it kind of follows the same pattern that Sear does with the other characters. Like we especially saw it in the first time Haunted, where he kind of just starts dismantling your life. He'll just start messing with your friends and your family and your job, like getting you fired, just making either scary things happen to your friends, or they think you're acting weird, so they start distancing themselves, which means you spend more time alone. And then you're scared because the more you're alone, and then the more paranoid you get, and the more weird shit you see happening. And then they start drinking just to kind of, help them fall asleep, which only leads to making their life worse. So it's kind of, she's following the same pattern.
Woke up in the field in the middle of nowhere.
So this is just north of Edmonton. There's like an Air Force base pretty close to here. We just wanted somewhere where we didn't have to drive very far. The main house where we're filming was on the north side, so this is only, probably a 10-minute drive, not even. But it looks like it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and it has this dirt road here, which was pretty cool, so it worked. We also wanted somewhere where there wasn't like a highway with cars whizzing by. We wanted somewhere where there's very little traffic.
And again, it seems like I've traveled back in time. I don't know how long I've been gone, but it feels like I've been gone for a long time, like a couple years or something. But today is the day after my party, so it's only been a couple of hours. Like last time, I have vague memories of being back in time, but this time it was the 1800s, and there was this guy with horses. Oh my gosh, okay, please stop, please. Come on. Yes. Hey, are you going to...
So here we have Paul Huckaluck. He was in the first Grotesque movie as Karaoke Carl, the karaoke host, and he was in Grotesque 2 as Pious Paul, who was a very similar character. He's the guy that he was like the DJ at the church dance, and he was the guy that introduced the Cornelius the preacher in the church. He's been in a bunch of other projects I've done as well.
Edmonton?
Uh-huh.
Can I jump in with you?
Hop in.
Great.
Are you filming me?
No.
Liar.
What are you doing out here anyway?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Fair enough.
Mike? Mike didn't answer. I left a message, so hopefully he's okay. This is so weird. It feels like it's been years since I've been in this house. It's like I was in some sort of coma. I can only remember little pieces, like the cowboy, the farmhouse, the horses. It's really starting to freak me out, to tell you the truth. What was that?
Yeah, and that was just a sound effect I found online. Some of them work okay. Some of them, it's always better to get them practically. It just the ones that you add in. Maybe if I was a better sound designer, I could make it sound more natural, but it just doesn't sound as good as if we had to just slammed something at the time. I think we did, but it just didn't. Maybe it was too quiet or something, and I added something else to it. But whatever. It serves its purpose.
Mike?
Yeah, so this is the part here with the cat that people think we did this on purpose, and we didn't. The cat just happened to be there, and he just happened to walk in the exact way and go to the exact place where the object, the whole point of the scene is. It was kind of freaky that it just worked out perfectly. And this was the only take. This wasn't even really the best take, but it was the only one where the cat did that. So I was like, that whole cat thing, it just adds so much to it that I'll even take a worst take just to keep it in there.
What is that?
So I'm not sure if the cat, because we went and put the little triangle twig thing, we went and hit it back there before we shot this scene. I wonder if the cat saw us do that, and then he wanted just to go and inspect and see what we put back there, but it's so weird that the cat just walked right back into that corner where we'd hidden it.
What is that? What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Who put this here?
It won't be much longer now.
Yeah, yeah, that voice. It won't be much longer now. That was another ghost voice from Indiegogo, and I had to speed it up a lot because the timing was off. Because the person that read it, obviously they tried to make it sound scary, and they read it at a normal pace, but I had to fit it in between her looking at the triangle twig thing and her spinning around in reaction to what it was said. And obviously when we shot it, she was just imagining the line. We didn't even have a cue. And I was like, oh shit, there's not enough time in there to fit the whole line, so I had to speed it up. Let's hear that again.
What is that? What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Who put this here?
It won't be much longer now.
And Jordy, who plays the handyman, this was his old house that we were shooting in, and he is a professional bodybuilder. That's why there's posters of Arnold Schwarzenegger and all the gym equipment down here.
Open the door!
Yeah, that demon breath there. Can't remember if I did that myself or if that was something I found. Sometimes I just do them by myself. I just record them into a microphone and then I play around with effects just to make it sound scarier.
I don't feel a presence, but someone was definitely holding that door.
I can't believe this is happening. Who the hell put this down there? Is this my hair?
I don't think it's her hair. I know for some of the other ones, like with Cassie, the actor Laura Fuentes, I think she was getting her hair cut, so she was like, oh yeah, sure, chop my hair off because she's getting a cut the next day anyways. For some of the other ones, we've used wigs. I think we used a wig for this because I think it's a different color, but I'm not sure.
I had people over for the party, but I don't even think any of them know about the movie that I'm making. Mike's been over here a lot, but I doubt that he would do it. Donnie's been MIA, but I guess anything is possible.
So it could have been any of them, like if Sear was using them to do that. I think the house was already haunted from before, from the last movie. So again, it's a bit different with Willow because Sear is guiding her to have some sort of leadership position in his twisted organization, but she still has to go through, I guess, some of the same stuff. But I think it was maybe just more to mess with her mind to put this in there. There's some parts of the story that I don't even have figured it out, and I really wanted to keep it that way, because if everything just wrapped up nicely with no loose ends, it would just, a lot of modern horror movies do that. There's just seems like there's nothing more to the story, where if something like this was happening, there'd be so many things happening and you wouldn't know what's connected and what's not. Like, you'd be trying to piece things together, but there'd be some things that you think are related but they're not, and vice versa. So I kind of wanted to just leave it open, that everything, you don't know quite how it fits in, and I think it just makes it a more interesting story as it's going, instead of like, this is the same plot as 100 other movies I've seen and you kind of know where it's going. I wanted it to be just unpredictable, like you don't know what certain things mean. And if you'd told me when I wrote I'm Haunted 1 that eventually we'd be dealing with doppelgangers and time travel and all this other stuff, it's like, other dimensions, it's like, wow, that's kind of, I wouldn't expect that. But it also makes it so that you never quite know where the story's going next.
But even if somebody did put it down there, how would they know the right words to use for the ritual? Like Bailey said in one of her videos, the ritual words are the biggest mystery. That's why people on the internet could never figure it out. I mean, she only found out the words because Aaron gave them to her, and Aaron's the brother of that guy Ted, and Ted is the guy who held the seance that Blythe and Genesis went to.
So yeah, when I originally wrote the first one, I mentioned the guy Ted and how he hung himself from a pipe in his parents' basement. And then in part 2, I decided, like, hey, maybe that guy could be where Bailey got the ritual from. She reached out to his brother and got his Ted's journal from Ted's brother Aaron. And I didn't expect it to go much further, but in this one, I was like, hey, I've kind of established Ted and Aaron as these two brothers that kind of started this, and so I took that a bit further, and it goes even further in part 4.
The big mystery has always been what words to use. So, Ted, the guy who killed himself.
It was me. I did it. I was pissed off at you, and I said a curse on you. Ted, the guy from the seance, he showed me how to do it.
Okay, so can't you contact that Ted guy and ask him how to get rid of it?
I would, if he hadn't committed suicide.
Shit.
Hung himself from a pipe in the basement of his parents' house.
So his brother Aaron was going through his stuff and found a journal with a ritual in it. He gave me the words that were in the journal, and so now I get to perform the ritual with the correct words.
I'm Haunted 2 has not...
I think Bailey was the most influential in ruining this for everyone. Like, if she hadn't have done what she did, like, maybe Sear would not have been successful. Because Genesis was a major part, and she did get possessed, and she kind of played a big role in it, but Bailey's the one that ultimately put the ritual out on the internet. Well, I guess it was also the fictional Higher Universe company that released the movie that had that in there. So all of a sudden, like, everyone had this information.
Been released at the time I'm recording this video, so nobody knows the ritual words yet. Maybe Aaron told other people what the words were, but how would they know me and where I live? Apparently after Ted died, Aaron found a journal containing conversations between Ted and an entity named Sear, and Sear, supposedly, was the one who gave the ritual words to Ted to start this whole curse. The curse who has been ruining countless people's lives. And Bailey Dawson, not knowing what she's getting herself into, tracked down Aaron and convinced him to give her the ritual words. So this all traces back to Ted, but he's dead. I'm tempted to track down Aaron myself and see what information I can get from him. I don't even know where to look for him. I don't even know his last name. I mean, Bailey Dawson found him, so if she can do it, I can do the same.
Okay, I think I found this Aaron guy. I did some sleuthing and I found Blythe's Facebook profile. His friends list is private, but his profile picture has him standing next to a guy at a birthday party, and there's a card that...
So originally we had plans to make up like a fake social media account, and we're going to get pictures of Ted and Aaron, the guys that play them, and kind of do this whole thing to show on screen what she was doing. But we just didn't have a lot of time, and it became too difficult to do it for such a small part, so we just kind of skipped that.
It says, "Happy birthday, Ted." I'm not 100% sure that it's the right Ted and Aaron, but my gut is telling me that it is. I sent Aaron a message, so hopefully I hear back. What now?
Mike, what the hell? Where were you?
Where were you?
What?
When I woke up, you were gone. I waited around for like an hour, but I had to get to work.
Why didn't you answer your phone?
Because you took it.
No, I didn't.
It was on the floor next to me when I fell asleep. And when I woke up, you were gone, and so was my phone.
Okay, well, I don't have it.
Where did you go?
So we use the Find My Device thing on my phone to track down Mike's phone, and it appears to be outside the city where I keep waking up in that field. I guess I grabbed it and took it with me, and I dropped it there. I told Mike about waking up out there twice now, and I'm not sure if he believes me. Kind of scared.
I don't know if anyone noticed Mike's subtle nod or shake of his head there.
Scared to be in the house, so the longer that I can keep Mike around, the better.
So this is the place you've been sleepwalking to every night?
Apparently.
So this place here is nowhere near where we actually film the part where she wakes up, keeps waking up, that country road. This is just across the street from the house, where you'll see later the Elowin house, the same one that appears in I'm Haunted 4. Actually, if you look out, there are shots where you look out from the house towards the road and you can kind of see this area, but it's hard to tell. It's just a bunch of grass and trees and bushes here, so we just figured it'd be easier just to film it right there while we were filming the rest of the scenes at the house.
Why here?
I don't know.
It's also the same house where we shot the end of Grotesque and the beginning of Grotesque 2 and Horror Show, so the family that owns it were very nice to us and were friendly enough to let us film quite a few projects there, and it's a nice house, nice property.
Should be around here somewhere.
Found it. You know, Willow, I pegged you for a lot of things, but I didn't peg you for a thief.
Is it stealing if I'm sleepwalking? I don't think so.
There's been court cases where that's literally the case.
Well, you can walk
Not exactly sure that there is, but still a funny line.
home, smart guy.
Not if I beat you to the car.
It's uphill! So Mike has made an interesting discovery on his phone.
Yeah, there's a red pin on the map of the city that I didn't put there and nobody sent to me.
The same thing happened with Bailey Dawson before she found that body. It may have been Sear that sent her there.
I don't want Sear fucking around with my phone.
You might be too late for that. Let's go see what we can find at that.
I don't think I noticed that playing card up there before. It's interesting.
A pin.
If we find a dead body, I'm gonna puke.
So this is back to that same park that we always film in. It's insanely huge. So this is just like on the other side of the parking lot from it, just so the trail looks a bit different.
Are we close?
Yeah, this is the spot.
Oh, there's Chase Bakari. So that's Faisal. He's co-host with me in some movie reviews I do and that type of stuff, and he played Bailey's friend Chase in the last movie, who turned out to be a murderer, and then he escaped from prison in this one, and now apparently he's here.
Oh shit, it's Chase Bakari. Run! What are you doing? Run! Oh, fuck. That was fucking crazy. Mike's calling the cops. Hurry up before he comes back!
So it's funny, actually, this is the parking lot we're in, this area here that you can see. You can see the trail kind of go in here where that sign is. This is where we were filming the part we just saw. But I wanted to make it look like he was coming out of the area where we saw Bailey go, where they found that body, where where Chase Bakari left that body in the last movie, which is on the other side. So that's why we finished filming in this area you could see here. But then we had Faisal go over to the other side and run out of that area just to kind of make the story make sense that way.
Holy shit, he's coming!
He's coming.
Get in, get in, get in, get in, get in! Get in, get in, get in! Record this, record this, record this!
Drive.
So we did this take a few times, or the scene a few times, and in one of them, Faisal just wipes out on the gravel here, and he like cut his finger, or he just like scraped his finger on the gravel. He actually brings that up in I'm Haunted 5 when he plays himself. We meet him at the bar. He is talking about that. I can't remember if I'm pretty sure that I used that take where he fell, just because it was a little bit more dramatic. But he wasn't hurt or anything, but it was kind of interesting.
Hurry up!
Yeah, he's wiped out there. Oh, I think that... Is that reflection there? I'm not sure if that's our notes for the movie or if that's just something that she had in her car.
I'm home, and Mike and I just got into a fight because he's too much of a pussy to come into the house. The police called me, and they're on their way over to get my statement and ask me stuff about our encounter with Chase Bakari. They're searching the park for him right now. I'm just worried he's gonna show up at my house. The police just left.
So yeah, I never really wanted to actually show the police. I've mentioned them in the other movies, but it's just a matter of honestly finding realistic looking police uniforms is kind of hard to do, and we could have had plainclothes police officers, but it's just hard to do because even in other really low budget movies like this, it's hard to get them to be realistic. So I just kind of decided to, and I don't think she would actually film all the police were there. They probably wouldn't want her to. So it kind of makes sense that she just wouldn't record that, but then give an update after they left. So kind of saves us some time and money, and it's a little bit more realistic.
I told them what happened, but I didn't tell them how we got there. I just told them that Mike and I went on for a walk. I probably shouldn't be admitting that I'm lying to police. So whoever from Higher Universe is editing this, please do not use this part. I do not want to go to jail.
Too bad, Willow. I put it in.
I just received a message back from Aaron Glass, or rather, Aaron's mom, as it appears. I wrote to Aaron's account, and she answered, "This is Aaron's mom. We should speak." And I said I'd be open to that. The crazy thing is his mom's name is Elowen. And I always said if I had a daughter, I would name her Elowen. It's not a common name. Elowen said that she would like to meet me in person, tonight, now. Normally I would say no because it's after midnight, but I'm desperate for any reason to get out of the house. Elowen, Aaron's mom, sent me the address. It's a little bit outside of St. Albert, so it's a pretty far drive. But she said that she has some information that can help me out, so... Okay, here we are. It's 4:30 a.m. and...
So it wasn't actually that late. It was, we just filmed these scenes at the end of a day. We were filming a bunch of other stuff there, and then we just waited till the sun set. So it was probably 10 or 11 p.m. So when we filmed this, we just had to wait for the sun to go down. Then it would look like it was the middle of the night.
I'm in the middle of nowhere. Nobody even knows that I'm here. Something doesn't feel right about this.
And that was just their motion sensor light. It just happened to go off, and I kind of thought it looked kind of cool that the light just turned off, so we left it in.
Come this way.
So that's Sherry Severs there, who plays Elowen. She's a Calgary actor, and so far this was the first and so far only time I've actually worked with her. So she was nice enough to come up from Calgary to be part of this.
This is weird. Okay, I'll set up. And you're okay if I film you?
Yes.
Why don't we start off with you introducing yourself?
I'm Elowen. My sons are Theodore and Aaron, both deceased.
They are? Aaron too?
Yes, he took his own life like his brother.
Bailey Dawson spoke with him quite recently.
It was 9 days ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, your news threw me off. You said you had news that could help me?
You want to know about Seer?
Yeah?
Seer was introduced into our lives when Ted foolishly took an interest in the unnatural world.
Like seances and stuff?
Yes. Once you venture down that path, there's no turning back. He became obsessed. He claimed he made contact with someone from the future.
Holden.
Not Holden. Seer. Or someone tricked into spreading Seer's will.
I thought Holden was Seer.
Holden and Seer are not the same.
I found these videos of this.
See, when I first wrote I'm Haunted 2, Holden and Seer were the same. It was just Seer was pretending to be someone named Holden to fool Bailey. And even at the end of that movie, that's kind of what you assume. But it was actually two separate entities. It's just kind of hard to tell when they're only talking through knocking. But some of it might have been Seer pretending to be Holden. But Holden was actually trying to do good. So here we're kind of getting the whole backstory that they're actually two separate people.
Woman.
But in reality, this was kind of all a setup to encourage Willow here to get more knowledge, to look further into this, and kind of fulfill the ultimate destiny that we'll see at the end of this movie.
Speaking to someone who she thought was Holden, but it was Seer.
They're separate. Holden is human. He's reaching out from wherever he is trying to help.
Seer's not human.
Not exactly. He may be the creation of one. The important thing is he means harm. Once you meddle with the spirit world, you open yourself up to all sorts of attacks. Seer will lie and pretend to be all sorts of people to mislead you. Ted let this evil into the world by writing those
Yeah, there's a few little rough editing cuts here, but I'd rather have that than just have the movie be too long and boring. So there was anytime there's just like a big space, or there was some dialogue and some lines that I didn't think were that important. And I just like in all my movies, especially these ones where it's a lot of people talking, I like to just keep the pace going. So anything that's kind of dull or I just don't like, I just get rid of it. I'm not going to keep it in there just to pad the runtime or anything like that. I'd rather have the rough cuts than lose people's interest or have the story suffer.
Ritualistic words he was given while conducting a seance and sharing them with his friends.
Blythe, the one who put the curse on Genesis Brady.
Yes, Blythe. That young witch.
Where's Holden from? He said he was from...
So we never got into that more. We know that Blythe, in the first movie, she's the one that kind of started it. I mean, we find out at the end of this movie that technically Willow started it because of the time thing, but in terms of the story, Blythe started it by using this ritual to try to punish Genesis, and that kind of set the whole story going because Blythe was involved in witchcraft, and she eventually got out of it when she realized it backfired on herself. But it seems like Elowen here has some animosity towards Blythe. So it could be that Blythe kind of threw a wrench into their plans, and it's possible that maybe Genesis was the one, because Genesis was also at that original seance with Aaron and Ted. Maybe Genesis was supposed to be the one that Seer targeted, but then Blythe kind of went off on her own and made the curse kind of spread around, and who knows if that's part of Seer's plan. So maybe they're like, kind of mad that Blythe just went off on her own and did all that stuff. It's never really explained, and like I said, I kind of like things that aren't quite explained. You don't know why Elowen here is so mad at Blythe, but there's something going on in the background, some kind of drama there that we don't know about, and it's not really necessarily a part of the story. It just kind of adds to the whole lore.
From the future, but from year 52, which doesn't make any sense.
He's from the future, but not our future. There are other worlds.
Like other dimensions?
So to speak. Seer launched his attack on Ted without mercy. He couldn't take it anymore. My husband found him in the basement, strung up on a pipe by his own hand. Aaron never believed any of it. He hated all the attention that Brady woman drew to the ordeal. Then that Bailey Dawson contacted him, and he foolishly gave her the ritual words Ted had.
Yeah, back in part 2, we had a whole storyline. We kind of got more into it of how Bailey actually got the ritual from Ted. I had it in the original script that she actually like dated him for a while, because she wanted it, but he wouldn't give it up. So she like dated him to kind of basically gain his trust and gain access to his house in order to find this journal that had the ritual in it. But then I decided that was just way too much complications, especially that early in the story. So I just skipped it over that she messaged him and just asked for it, and he gave it up.
Written in his journal. He finally took his own life like his brother, shot himself in the basement with his father's hunting rifle.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be. It was inevitable.
I found that really weird triangle twig thing in my house, and weird things have started happening.
See, I think that maybe Sear kind of orchestrated things to get rid of Ted and Aaron, because he didn't want, especially Ted, to be continually doing more of these seances. He just wanted the seance to happen that Blythe and Genesis were at, that introduced Sear into the world, so that Sear could be introduced to Willow, who would then go back in time and kind of create this eternal time loop so that Sear could exist here forever. But if Ted kept doing other seances, he could have kept talking to other entities like Holden and people that were trying to stop Sear, or just anything else. He could have been meddling with anything. So it's like once he served his purpose, get rid of him, just torment him enough till he hangs himself. And then the same thing happened with Aaron. Maybe it was punishment that Aaron gave the ritual book to Bailey, and maybe that wasn't part of the plan. So he kind of did the same with Aaron. Something along those lines. I didn't think too much about it as I was writing it, because if I thought too much of it and if all the loose ends were tied up too neatly, I think the story kind of lost something. I wanted it to be hard to figure out, kind of like it was being conducted by these entities that are on some other plane of existence. Like, they don't think like us, so we don't really know their plan, and we can't figure out what they're doing. And I wanted things to be a little bit confusing, and I want people to think of it and kind of come up with their own theories. But that's a very basic theory of mine.
Don't know how it got there.
Anyone could have put it there. Sear has many minions, and their numbers grow every day.
What does he want?
To restructure the world according to his own desire.
How do I stop it?
The only way is to pass the curse to someone else. You may not be able to rid the world of the cancer that is Sear, but you can keep his numbers small and keep yourself distant.
Genesis Brady tried that. She tried to pass it on to that lady.
So I did, in the original script, it was going to turn out that this is not actually Ted and Aaron's mom, because after Elwyn disappears, Willow is going to walk around the house and then see a family picture of them, and their mom is some completely different person. So she's like, oh shit, who's this person I'm talking to, who is apparently some kind of ghost or something. I ended up cutting that part out. We didn't even shoot it. I cut it out of the script because I just wanted to leave it more open-ended, so it's possible that, and likely that, this is not actually Ted and Aaron's mom. It's just Elo in person. We kind of find out later who it technically is, or who it's the ghost of, but it's not Ted and Aaron's mom.
In her apartment, Mrs. Pearson, and in her last video ended up getting attacked by an old lady.
It was so nice to just have some...
Kraga, granddaughter of the woman that Sear's followers call Mother on Earth. Genesis Brady was almost free. She broke the connection, but she remained living at the same place. Sear was able to find her.
So, if I pass the curse on to someone else and move to my own apartment, I'll be fine?
Yes.
How does that help anything? I'm still spreading Sear in this world.
You have to pass the curse to someone outside this world. Opening up the proper channel allows you to speak to those in other times and places.
How do I communicate?
So obviously that's not true. She just wants to make sure that, as we see later, that Willow here spreads Sear back to Ted in the past when he was at the seance. Because opening up this channel, it can not only talk to people in different times, but different dimensions.
To the spiritual world without only contacting Seer.
Ted wrote everything down in his journal. This seer person from the future gave him all the knowledge of how to open the channels, as well as the ritualistic words to use.
Who do I pass it to?
Anyone who answers. Don't worry about picking them. They'll pick you. And don't tell them who you really are. Leave no way to...
So that kind of harkens back to the first I'm Haunted when Genesis was talking to Seer through the Nox. And one of her questions is like, why'd you choose me? And then he said, you pick.
Find you. I'll go get Ted's journal.
And that squeaking door sound effect was not a sound effect. The door was actually like that. It just sounded cool.
Do what's necessary. Rid your life of hell.
Thanks. Do you mind if I use your washroom?
Do as you will.
So this effect here is very rudimentary, but it worked. We just filmed from this angle with the camera locked off, and then had her sitting there for a bit, and then she got up and left, and then we just faded from one shot to the other.
Elowen? Is it rude to run off like this? Fuck it. I don't trust her and I'm already scared.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So yeah, that was just a sound effect I added in.
Fuck. My car won't start. Gas tank's full. I don't know what's wrong with it. I messaged Mike to pick me up before I lost service, but I don't even know if he got the message.
So yeah, this journal here, I bought it on Amazon, just the blank journal. Bought it fairly cheap on Amazon. It looks cool. And Elena Lebnikova is the one that did all this writing in it and all the pictures and everything. She put a lot of work into it, so it's kind of sad that we only got to see it for a little bit. But you might recognize her. She was in the first Grotesque movie, and she was in Grotesque 2. She was the one that Mildred Moyer drowns in the lake. And she played Nicolia in Horror Show. So yeah, she's put a lot of effort into this. So if you actually pause this and read the stuff, honestly, I haven't even read all of this stuff, but she put some thought into it. It's not just random crap. There were a few things like this here. I wrote the do I have to be afraid in my own home? There was a few things that I wrote down that had to be in it, but most of it she just made up herself. So if you actually use Google Translate to see what this means here, it actually has meaning.
This is the ritual that started it all.
So you can see here it's a little bit brighter than it was in the previous scenes, so this is probably what we shot first. So the sun hadn't completely set yet.
What was that?
So there we have Ted and Aaron, or they're ghosts, or doppelgangers. I guess it's not quite clear what exactly they are, but they're played by Dilly Green and Wayne Caldwell, who are they're actually like a musical duo here in Edmonton. And they were friends of some of the people we worked with, and they were nice enough to come out here and do this, and they actually turned out to be really cool guys, and they helped a lot with this movie and with some of the other projects we worked on.
What the fuck? No, stay right there. Stay right there.
So this here, she basically just ran a loop around the house, but even running, the shot was just way too long. So I probably cut like 2/3 of it out just to have her get around the house quicker. There's some good moments here because as the camera moves, you get these moments here of just pure black, so it was easy to find an edit point in it.
Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
So this part here we shot at that same location that I talked about before, where we filmed like so much stuff, that parking lot where we last saw Chase Bakari and all those scenes. This is in that same area, just like facing the other way, so we're pretending it's a different location. She was too scared to run back to her car because the guys were chasing her, and she wouldn't have had enough time. She got in her car and it wasn't working, and so she just chose to like run. And she's probably been walking for a couple hours now, and the sun's finally risen. And but she's in the story world. We're not too far from where she was, so Mike is traveling down the road here and happens to find her.
Oh, thank God, it's Mike. Okay, just go, just go, just drive.
Don't.
Yeah, and there was like a lot of construction going on right in this area, but they'd shut down for the night. So we just pulled up under this bridge here that they were working on and filmed the scene.
Worry, I don't think they would have chased.
This is only like, not even 100 yards up the road from where we filmed the last part.
This far, they're gone. Oh, by the way, the police shot Chase Bakari.
What?
Yeah, the police officer that interviewed us, he just told me that they shot him. He's dead.
Fucking good. I don't think that means it's the last we've seen of him.
How do you mean?
So that was kind of a red herring that at first she's like, I'm worried he's going to show up at the house. So we kind of figured that, or I intended people to think, oh, Chase Bakari is going to pop up at some other point or play some part in it. And he never does. He was kind of, maybe he was under the influence of Sear, or maybe he was just some crazy guy. It's never really explained, but I wanted to have things like that where you don't know kind of who's involved, kind of like that weird guy that showed up at the house played by Crazy Dave. You don't know who's involved in the whole thing, or if other things are just random. It kind of leaves you not knowing where the story's going to go next.
What the fuck?
I know, right? She just fucking disappears.
So she's a ghost or what?
I guess, I don't know.
And her sons are ghosts too.
I have no idea. I'm just as confused as you are. But I don't give a fuck if they're ghosts or not. They still attacked me.
I guess technically they didn't attack her. They just chased her, but I could see why she would be scared.
Can you stop recording for a minute?
Mike went outside to think. And he's gonna stay. I begged him to stay. I'm having second thoughts about doing the ritual. I mean, when Elowen or whoever it was that explained it to me, it made sense. But when we got back and we rewatched the video and she vanished into thin air, it just kind of makes me think that she's not human. To put it bluntly, I think that she's Seer.
I guess that would be a logical train of thought, but it's not true. But she's part of Sear's his crew, I guess you could say.
And she just wants me to spread the curse around. I feel bad for Mike. I wish I hadn't got him involved in any of this.
You're the one who started this whole project. What did you think would happen? You had to have known there was a possibility the same thing would happen to you as Genesis Brady and Bailey Dawson.
Okay, of course I considered it, but I thought if I looked at it from an outside perspective and wasn't stupid enough to do the ritual myself, it wouldn't affect me.
You were attempting it, and you got burned.
I didn't move into this house until I confirmed that other people had come in and not been affected. There was no reason to think that it was one, real, and two, would happen to me.
No, Willow, you didn't think it would happen to you because you think you're somehow different and superior to other people. That's the same problem those other two had. They thought they were good people who didn't deserve this, when in reality, they were selfish, bad people.
So it wasn't... It's like, obviously, Willow's not a horrible person. She's not some kind of villain, like, at least not yet. But like Mike points out, there are subtle clues that she does have a bit of an ego and that type of thing, which is maybe why Sear chose her. And at the end, obviously, we see what happens when she all of a sudden has all this power, and she's kind of like, hey, maybe it's not such a bad thing. So maybe she is a bad person. I didn't want to make her just a total bitch, because that would have just made the character frustrating to watch. I wanted to have her. She seems like she's a good person, but you know, Mike might have a point here.
Mrs. Brady wasn't a bad person.
She broke into someone's house to steal their hair so she could put a curse on them.
Yeah, so like pretty much all the characters we've seen so far, the main characters of the first 3 movies, they're not all bad, but they have a little bit of a bad side to them.
Then she bragged about it.
Yeah, well, nobody's perfect.
You have no one to blame but yourself. Now I'm involved.
I'm sorry for getting involved.
I apologize, so Mike and I made up, so I think we're good now. And he's right. I mean, partly right. But he's staying over now, thank God. I told Mike not to leave without telling me, no matter what. Now that I know that there's a presence in the house, I'm just waiting for it to attack me. Holden, can you keep me safe? It was worth a shot. Probably should have never done this project. Whatever, I just have to survive, and hopefully the movie makes millions.
I'll ruin that now. It did not. At least not yet. You know, who knows what'll come in future years.
I think I hear Mike talking to someone.
So that whispering there, pretty sure that's just me whispering. Oh no, maybe it was Mike, Stefan. Maybe it was him doing it. I can't remember. But one of us just recorded whispering on our phone, and I added it in. So it's supposed to be the middle of the night, and we closed that door there, but you could totally see the light coming under the door, that it's actually broad daylight. But we should have put a blanket down there or something.
No, I guess not.
And if you look back here, let's back it up a second.
I think I hear Mike talking to someone. No, I guess not. What the fuck? I just woke up and Mike's gone? He said he would tell me he was gonna leave.
Hey.
Oh, you're still here.
I told you I wasn't gonna go without telling you.
Right. What were you doing down there?
Nothing. I just thought I heard something. But...
So Mike acting fishy kind of leads you to believe that maybe he was the one that left the twig triangle down there earlier, but I'm not sure if he did. He seems to be the only or one of the only people in this who consistently acts normal and rational for the entire movie. But that could just be part of Sear's plan, is that he's acting like he's stable when actually he's the one behind it all. But it could also be he's just has nothing to do with it, and that's why he's acting normal. So we never figure out why, and we never figure out for sure who left the twig triangle down there.
It was nothing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go put some coffee on, and we need to go get my car.
I'm stopping here. I don't want to get closer.
You have to get close enough to boost it.
Go try it first, and if it doesn't work, then I'll come closer.
Fine. Hold the camera and record me while I try to start my car.
Willow, I just want to let you know, if you're watching this, you're completely insane.
And those the white truck and those two vehicles that were there the previous night are now gone. So obviously someone came and went and knew that her car was there.
Oh, thank God. What is she doing? What are you doing?
Come help me, Donnie's back here.
What?
So that line, pretty sure we had to re-record that because we couldn't hear her. So I just had her say that into her phone, and then I added it in later.
You sure you're gonna be okay?
Yeah, I just want to sleep. I don't want to talk about anything right now.
And again, Donnie, it seemed, especially at the beginning, that he was going to play a bigger part of it, like of Sears, whatever his plan is. But it turns out, I guess he was just, maybe he is later on, but at least for what we see here, he's not a big part of it. He's just one of the guys that gets temporarily possessed, like Kevin in part 2, or a lot of those guys that showed up at Genesis Brady's house, and so he was out there doing something, and he's obviously been kind of traumatized by it, but he seems to be okay now, and then we never figure out what happens to him, but we'd figure he must play some part of it because now Sear has some level of control over him, so whatever happened after this, maybe something happened with him.
Well, let me know when you're feeling better. I miss you.
Yeah, I just need some time to wrap my head around what's happening right now.
I understand.
I don't think I want to be part of the project anymore. I want to give the money back.
It's all good. We can talk about that later. I don't know how Donnie got out to that house. I mean, I've asked him, but he doesn't remember. Then again, I've had long stretches of time and I can't even remember. I've been debating on whether or not I want to do the ritual that Eloin told me. Pass it on to some poor, unsuspecting person, hopefully from another world or dimension or time. And I've decided that I'm going to do it. I don't feel good about it, but this needs to end. Okay, so here's how this is going to...
And that phone call was not in the script. The phone just happened to ring, and I was like, yeah. It just, right after the last word of the scene, the phone rang. It sounded kind of cool, so I kept it in.
Go. There is a section in this journal that says opening channel with a bunch of words after it. I'm not going to record myself saying them. I'm going to say them off camera, and I'm going to destroy the book when all is said and...
I don't think it really matters because she filmed the words earlier in that scene where we saw them. But it's kind of like earlier when she's like, whoever's going to edit this at Higher Universe, like, don't include this part. So I think when she dropped off her videos in order for them to turn it into a movie, she told them, like, don't include these parts in there. But they ended up doing it anyway.
Done. I even emailed Higher
Except for this ritual here, they didn't include that.
Universe and requested that they didn't include the parts of Bailey Dawson's videos in I'm Haunted 2, where she performs the ritual word.
Oh, okay, so that that's why. It's funny since I'm the editor, but yeah, I forgot. So yeah, in part 2, we did show the whole ritual, so that would be story-wise why they wouldn't put it in this one because it was already in part 2.
I have to stop this from spreading. So I just read the words aloud, and I don't know what I really expected. I didn't think that the knocking would happen right away, but it did. In fact, I think I've reached someone from another time and or place.
So again, that's just me sitting off camera, right behind the camera, knocking on the wall.
Poor unsuspecting person, but serves them right for
I think I had just like a piece of paper with the number of knocks written down because it had to spell out certain things.
screwing around with the spiritual world. I'm trying to figure out what they're saying, but knocks are just going too fast. Shut up! So the knocking has slowed down a little bit, and it seems like I'm having some sort of communication with it. It's asking me how to channel a spirit. It says how I channel spirit. I have my knocking code list, which seems to be the only way
It's funny, just with the light, you can't even see anything written on that paper, but there is.
to communicate between the two worlds. Except for Holden and Seer. They're able to just summon the energy to speak to people or something.
So I think like Seer is a much more powerful entity, like whatever it is, so he can sometimes manifest himself. He can like generate enough energy to sometimes speak aloud or to like touch people and grab them or do things like that. But for the most part, he just communicates through knocking because it takes much less energy to do so. And he can also just manipulate people in our world to do whatever the hell he wants. And Holden, we never quite, well, I guess in part 5, we figure out that Holden's actually me, the writer and director of the series, and they're talking to him in the different world is this fictional world versus our real world. So Holden has some power because he's the creator of this whole story. It gets very meta, and some people complained it's too complicated, but I think it's kind of cool. So, but of course Willow doesn't know all this, so she's just trying to figure it out.
Sometimes attack people. Genesis Brady and Bailey Dawson talked about how frustrating this process could be, and they're right. I'm about halfway through. The person said that they needed a break. This is the slowest way to have a conversation. I wonder who this person thinks I am. I wonder what world they're from. Funny. All of this started because some girl thought her apartment was haunted.
Well, technically it started because one day me and Elizabeth were talking and we're like, hey, we should just do something. We can make a movie doing something very easy and cheap. And then, so I had the idea, like, how about we just pretend like your house is haunted and you film yourself talking about it. And then it somehow turned into this whole series that people seem to love. So yeah, this whole knocking thing, I think I mentioned this in the commentaries in the first and second movie, but I was always worried that, she's got a weird look on her face, I'm gonna, there we go. I was always worried that these knocking parts would just be boring, listen to knocks, but I kept most of them in there. And I remember one time we had, I think it was for I'm Haunted 2, we had a bunch of people over to my place to watch the movie before it was released. So we're sitting there watching, and during the knocking parts, I saw like a few people out of the corner of my eye, and people were counting on their fingers the number of knocks. So I'm kind of wondering if people actually do that, like while they're watching it, to see if the number of knocks actually adds up to the correct letters.
Back. Okay, well, I better get back to the second half of this ritual, ruining this poor person's life. Finish tapping it out. It's done. At least, I think it's done. I tapped out the rest of the ritual, and I told him to make a triangle out of twigs with his hair. He said he'll do it. Will it work? I guess we'll wait and see tonight when the sun goes down.
So obviously I didn't want to show all the knocks because to have a whole conversation, the movie would be like 7 hours long. So I skipped over certain parts. And we left this picture. I'm pretty sure I asked Jordy's permission, but Jordy, the actor and owner of this house, that's him and his dad there. You can't really tell who he is, but he was the guy in the first Grotesque movie, the guy who got shot near the beginning, was like laying on the ground, and then Mildred leaves him there. And he was the guy that comes back in part 2 and shoots her at the end. Sorry if I ruined that for people that haven't watched it yet, but so yeah, he's an actor here, and I figured that we don't really know whose house this is. She's just renting it, so it could just be, you know, the owner or something. So we left it there.
They asked me what's my name. Elwyn told me not to give them my real name, which makes sense. I just don't want there to be any way that they can put this back on me. I know this is kind of malevolent, but I feel like it's best to only blame the party that's responsible for all of this.
So I wanted to make sure that this was absolutely clear what she's knocking out here, so I put the letters on the screen. Yeah, I'm just surprised that, like, most of the comments on these movies and stuff that I see, like, it seems like it's mostly positive. I don't read a lot of, like, reviews, but I do see YouTube comments, and most of them are positive. And the ones that are negative, I thought I would see more about, like, stop with the knocking, it's so annoying, but no one really said that.
There. Now Sear can get the blame for all of this.
So, of course, as it turns out, really his name isn't Sear. She's the one that came up with the name Sear because it was part of that time loop. But if she invented the name Sear, obviously, like, so we never know what his real name is or if he even has a real name. But somehow the Sear name is part of this time loop where she came up with it, but she got the idea from Ted, who got the idea from her. So it's kind of like it just becomes this, like, eternal, immortal kind of storyline where there's no way to get rid of it now because it came from the past, but the past got it in the future. So it has this, like, weird time loop to it, which is Sear's plan, just to, like, solidify his control because now he can't be getting, you can't get rid of him.
As he should. Maybe I should ask this person their name. He said his name was Ted. It can't be the Ted, can it? I'll ask what year he's from. This is disturbing. He said 2019 or 2019.
So yeah, that it seems like a long time had gone by because the movie, I think, was released in 2022. I'm pretty sure I released it after Grotesque. But we filmed and released the original videos of I'm Haunted in 2019. So it was actually like a few years had passed before we decided to turn into a movie, which is where it got popular. Thank God I did, because otherwise not many people would have known it even existed. So, because yeah, originally it was just a bunch of videos I put on YouTube. Like each little clip was a separate video, and they weren't that popular. And then I put it together as a movie, and all of a sudden that's when, you know, people started watching it, and I made the sequels. So here my first instinct when I was writing it, I was like, oh, like back in 2022. And then I was like, no, wait, I should say 2019 because someone's going to go back and check when those original videos came out on this very channel. And it'll look like I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So I made sure to write 2019.
The thing is, Ted was the one that gave Blythe the ritual to curse Genesis Brady in 2019. That's when Genesis made her videos. But Ted only got the ritual by doing a seance and communicated with some entity from the future named Sear. What did I just do?
Okay, so
So here we get to see more of this book that Elena did. This is fucked up. Was at work. Needed to something something. Yeah, Elena's great. Like even in Grotesque 2, we had. If you've watched that, you know what I'm talking about. But there's all the people that like sent letters to the church and pictures of their loved ones and stuff. And we had this whole garbage bag full of just letters and pictures. And Elena actually wrote out like in different handwritings on these nice little pieces of paper. All these different letters and stuff, even though all you ever see them is put in a trash bag. So it's a lot of work for not really seeing that much of it. So maybe one day I'm actually going to actually, I think I still have this book somewhere. It's probably with some other props. But there's a lot of cool stuff written in here that'd be worth looking at.
I'm flipping through Ted's journal, and there is some freaky shit.
She does good drawing and artwork too, so she put in some drawings on top of the writing
in here.
Yeah, see, some of these are pretty cool. So these are the list of people that were at the seance. And good thing I saw this, because I guess I can let the cat out of the bag now for anyone that's actually watching this. I'm writing the script to I'm Haunted 6 because I decided to do another one because people keep asking. And I probably putting a scene at the beginning that takes place at the seance. Or it's like just like a clip of the video from this actual seance, and I named the people there. So thank God I watched this again and saw these names, because I made up other names for the people there. So I have to make sure that I use these ones. So you're witnessing the I'm Haunted series is being created as you're listening to this commentary.
And there's this part where he's inviting people over for a seance. This must be the one that Blythe and Genesis went to. Here he says, met with someone today. She wants to curse her rival. I told her how to do it. Real evil shit.
So that was something that I wrote in the script that had to be in there. Obviously, he's talking about Blythe, because after the ritual, Blythe had the falling out with Genesis over the whole Mike issue. And then Blythe went back to Ted and was like complaining about Genesis. And he's like, hey, I want to curse her. How do I do that? And he was like, well, I talked to this entity named Seer. Or maybe after that, he went to Seer and was like, how to do this? How do you curse someone? And he gave the ritual, and then that's how this whole thing started.
That's obviously Blythe he's talking about.
So these are pictures of Emily Ann Sulkeld, who played Blythe. I just got her. Actually, no, I just asked her permission. I went through Facebook and found some pictures that I thought would be good for this, and then made sure it was okay with her to use them, and she said yes. So that's where I got these. And these are pictures of Ted and Aaron, played by Dilly and Wayne. And I just asked them, because they're in real life, they're like best friends. So I was like, hey, can you guys send me just like some pictures of yourselves together? And they sent these ones. I think I had to buy like a package of like 1,000 of those little envelopes just so I could use like one in here. So yeah, these pictures here, they turned out pretty good. Although someone did point out that she's like has nail polish in one of the pictures, like modern nail polish, but whatever. But it was Caitlin Varon, who was our costume designer and art department head for Grotesque, that did these pictures, and she had a studio downtown Edmonton for all her stuff, and she recently moved, but we went down there and she found these costumes, and then we just found somewhere in that building to take a picture against a wall, and then she used her photography editing magic to make it look like it's like an old picture.
What the fuck? No fucking way. That's the man I met when I thought I went back in time. And tell me that's not me. And the back says 1904.
So I just wrote that on there. I didn't know how to make it look like it was written in 1904, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just write 1904 in pen and people will have to believe that it's real.
How is this possible? How did Ted get this? Give me a logical reason for that. Go on.
Are you sure this is you?
That's totally me. Just look at it. And that guy is the guy from my memories from when I was doing the time traveling.
Who is he?
I don't know. Look, hold up the other picture to the camera. I was too busy freaking out to show them.
And so yeah, that one was I can't remember if there was actually like I don't think there was a toy baby in there. I think that was just like a pile of blankets she was holding. I think honestly, like, I'm pretty proud of those pictures. Like, for just the limited budget and resources we had, the fact that we were able to make it kind of look like an old picture, I think it's pretty damn good.
From 1905.
Oh yeah, I guess this is what people are talking about, that she has her modern nail polish, but yeah, maybe she had it in her pocket or something when she went back in time. And that's Braden Hameluk there on the right. He was been in a bunch of our movies. He was in one of the guys in Grotesque 2. So if you watch that, you'll recognize him.
And whose baby is that? Look, Mike, I need your help. I feel like I'm going insane.
Well, maybe you are.
Then explain the photos. Explain them.
I can't, but what are you saying? That you went back in time and had a baby with some cowboy?
I don't know.
You were only gone for like a short period of time.
In this timeline, yes, but remember when I told you that it felt like I was gone for a long time, like years, maybe? I don't know what to do.
Neither do I. No, I can't deal with this anymore. Willow, you should have let this project die in the first place with that Bailey Dawson chick.
You're telling me you're not the least bit interested in finding out what this is all about?
You know what? No, I'm not. Okay? I don't want any part of this anymore. Bye, Genesis.
Fuck, did you just call me Genesis?
Sorry. Willow. You know what I meant.
So yeah, that kind of leads you to believe that maybe there's something he's not telling her. Maybe he's a bit more, there's a bit more to it. But it could also just be that he knows about Genesis because she was like internet famous at this point because of these videos. And maybe that's just what he was thinking about, but possibly there's more to it. If there's not, maybe Mike's the smart one just by washing his hands of this and being like, I'm just going to break contact with everyone and get away.
I can't deal with this.
What is going on? I'm getting out of here. My friends can abandon me all they want, but I'll deal with it myself. I'll just go back to my apartment. I'll pick up my stuff, the rest of my stuff tomorrow. Maybe I'll just leave it here. I don't know. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Pass the curse on to Ted, so hopefully if I leave it now, this will be the end of it. It feels so good to be home. I just walk through the door and I feel 100 times safer. Oh shit. Someone's at the door. Oh no. It's Kevin. Just kidding. It's an Amazon delivering a package. I buzz them up.
So I'm pretty sure this is, I can't remember what we bought, but I bought a whole bunch of stuff from Amazon for this movie, like I do for most movies, so we just kept one of the packages here to rewrap this in.
Higher Universe sent me a present.
So basically, this is just a shameless plug for my book. But I guess it would make sense that someone that was fascinated by this whole story, if it was real, would order the book written about it. But I wrote the book before part 2 came out, before I even thought about doing a part 2. So it's been a while since I read it, so some of the story might not translate into the later movies, because I changed a lot of stuff and I added a lot of things. But I basically took the script from the first time Haunted and turned it into like a journal format of like her like diary, Genesis Brady's diary, and then I just added like a whole bunch of stuff to it. So I've had people read it and like really like it. It's it's not mega popular, definitely not as popular as the movies, but I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about it. So you can order it on Amazon if you want. It was fun to write, so yeah, I might write more in the future. But so I just kind of wanted to plug this here, and it would make sense that she would buy that. So yeah, buy the book if you want to help support me.
It's the I'm Haunted book. Apparently they somehow got a hold of Genesis' stuff when they cleared out her apartment. She kept a lot more in her journal and really detailed her experiences. I'm sure it'll make for an interesting read.
I can't believe they cut all this stuff out about Genesis's dog Poe.
Yeah, I wanted to write that because put that part in there because when I released the first movie of I'm Haunted in the original single videos, there was a whole lot of stuff with her dog. Well, not a lot of stuff, but her dog goes missing and then it ends up unfortunately getting killed. And when I put the movie out, I kind of knew that people have a soft spot for dogs, and there was some backlash for having the death of a dog. So I ended up cutting that part out of the movie because I had to cut like an hour and a half out of the original videos just to make the first movie. But in the book, I put that in there plus some more dog-related stuff. So, but I eventually released it in the director's cut of I'm Haunted. If you can watch the first director's cut, it's like 2.5 hours long. People seem to really like it. So, and no one mentioned the dog, funny enough. So that's on this Higher Universe YouTube channel as well. But yeah, in the book, there's a lot more. So I just wanted to kind of mention her, that it looks like she's actually reading it and referencing things from the book. So people that read the book will know what she's talking about.
I guess people don't like to hear about animals getting hurt. What's really weird is that Bailey and Genesis were both from Calgary.
And that was just honestly a coincidence. I just decided to make them from there, and there was no reason that like Calgary doesn't play a part in it. It's just I forgot that Genesis was from Calgary when I made Bailey from there, so well, whatever. Oh, and I just hate, like, I can't remember, but every take we did of this part, somehow there was some issue with it that I didn't notice while we were filming, so I had to put that cut in there. Because I think Elizabeth was like hiding, she was just like crouched down behind the bed or something, so I wanted to have Willow kind of like pan around, and then when she panned back, all of a sudden Genesis is standing there, kind of like she materialized into thin air. But you could either see her shadow or something happen with all of them, so I ended up having to put a little cut there, and it always bothers me. And there she is. So I wanted to have, it was kind of sad that basically Elizabeth Chamberlain, who plays Genesis Brady here, she's been like the main character, or played a big part in almost all of my movies, and she's awesome to work with. So when it came time to do this, it's like, or even part 2, it's like, oh shit, like we don't have, it's not really a lot for her to do because she's technically possessed by Seer, so it wouldn't make sense for the story to revolve around her, but I wanted to have her at least be in it a little bit. So I always made a way that somehow she appears in all the movies. And then for part 5, I came up with a way that she could come back and be the main character again. But for here, we're just seeing her a little bit at the end.
Okay. Genesis Brady?
Come with me.
Where?
You'll see. Don't worry. You're safe.
There we have Danielle Kravenke back as Bailey Dawson, so she gets a cameo too.
Fuck, Bailey Dawson?
We've been waiting a long time. Come with us.
Where are we going?
To Crater.
You could tell that for some reason it was just like her voice was too quiet, so I had to crank up the audio there.
How did we get here? How is it day all of a sudden?
Time doesn't mean much now.
So I think originally this was going to be at night, but it was just too hard to film because it's too dark at night and we couldn't really have lights. And if you're filming it out in the, the wilderness here, there's just not going to be any way to get lights out there or have natural light. So I was like, well, what if we just did it in the day? But then I was like, oh, but shit, she was just sleeping. So I was like, what if we just add a line in? I think we added that line in like as we were filming. I was like, why don't we just have her say, like, why is it day all of a sudden? And then Genesis can say time doesn't mean much now. So this area here is, if you're in Edmonton, you know where this is. That's the White Mud Freeway, or part of it running right that you can kind of see there. And this is right where there's the ski hill here. It's the Sunshine Valley. There's that ski hill right around here somewhere. So I just walked around scouting locations one day. This is only like probably 2-3 blocks from the house that we were just at. That was we were using as Willow's house, that apartment building. This is just around the corner. And we did film this very area here. If you go like turn around and walk back the way we just came, there's like little park areas. We filmed a short film there once called The Hunger, which you'll find on this YouTube channel. It's also one of the shorts in the Ezra and Gore Girl horror anthology, also on this channel. We filmed there, and then like someone called the cops on us, and the police helicopter was flying overhead. Actually, we talk about that in I'm Haunted 5. And so I was like, you know what? Like, if people in this neighborhood are dicks and it's just going to be a problem. But it's like, hey, if you walk down this little path, I walked down this path and then found this area right here that leads to this like cool looking hill, and it just we got the nice background there. So I was like, holy shit, this is like way better than my original plan. So this was a pretty cool spot we filmed in.
Are familiar with our little family? Small in number, but ever growing.
And actually, if you look in the background here, see that bridge, and there's like the construction under there. That's right where we parked. That scene that I mentioned earlier, where Mike and Willow, after he picks her up when she flees Elowin's house, and they're parked on the side of the road, and he said that Chase Bakari died. They were parked like right in this area here. So here we have the people that appeared in the last movie. So we have Laura Fuentes there, who was Cassie. And then we have Jordy Cheeseman as the handyman, still in the same clothes. And then we have Gavin Bartlett here as Nathan, who was Bailey's friend. So they're the ones that they all poisoned themselves and then somehow came back to life, or their doppelgangers did. I think it was basically their doppelgangers, but they're under Sears' control, so that's why they're here. And then we have Jamie Hill of Skinamarink fame, the mom in Skinamarink. She's playing Cassie's mom, and she was in the last movie, and she ended up dying too. So she was killed by Holden, I think. So that's why they're here. They're people controlled by Sear. I wanted to have more people there, like Tom, who played Kevin, and some other people, but just schedules didn't allow it. So these are the only ones we got.
Is this really happening?
Come see Craiga. She wants to speak with you.
Here, let me take your camera.
But I need the footage for the movie.
We'll see it's done. We want the whole world to see. Now go to Craiga.
So we started them walking down this hill, kind of like Craiga's down there somewhere. But in reality, for the next scene, we just turned around and walked back. And actually, yeah, I think this is the ski hill right here. It's just obviously not covered in snow, covered in snow at the moment. So this is Jamie's mom, Kathy here, who plays Craiga. And she's not really an actor. She's been kind of in the background of some other movies, and she's been very supportive of us, but she's not an actor, so it was kind of hard to do this. So what we ended up doing is we just got her lines, and then I kind of chopped them all together to make it work. And then we had Laura, who we just saw there in the striped shirt. She recorded all the lines herself, and then I just altered it. I like turned the pitch down and stuff and altered it to try to make it sound like an older lady's voice, and then I think it works well enough.
Grandmother, I finally get to meet you.
It was kind of hard to make it match up to her lips, so that took a lot of honestly probably just this one scene here took about as much time to edit as the entire movie just to make it match up to her lips.
I'm your grandmother?
You gave birth to my mother, Elowen. After you left, your husband told your daughter tales of her mother from another world. A future world.
My husband?
Your mother began a lifelong search for understanding of such things. She gave birth to me, and I continued in her footsteps. I gained near immortality and sought to carry out your will. I longed for the day you'd reveal yourself to us, and here you are.
So yeah, basically, so she went back in time, and her and that cowboy guy, Thomas, turns out his name is, they had a baby that grew up to, eventually give birth the granddaughter who is Craiga here, and she became like Sears' like head minion, I guess, and so it all kind of makes sense when I mapped it out. It's just in each subsequent movie I started changing things around, and then I'm like, oh shit, does the whole thing make sense if you put it all together? Because I kind of lost track of everything, but I also just like coming up with fresh stuff, so it's not a huge deal. But pretty sure it makes sense if you like drew out all the little storylines and everything and make it work out. But of course I joke about that in part 5 about whether or not it makes sense. You'll see what I mean when you watch that movie.
Long live Seer.
Long live Seer.
So yeah, I added in just that background whispering, the creepy sound that was from the first movie. I put that in there. And here we have Willow kind of thinking about this, that basically, she's this queen of this apparently powerful organization, even though, it's paranormal and she doesn't fully understand it, but all of a sudden she's an important person, and maybe part of her knew all along that she was just kind of going down this road that was like her destiny. Like everything was kind of planned out for her to investigate all this, but really she was just kind of solidifying everything and putting together all the pieces that we saw in the last movie, that everything was kind of happening and there's all these, little scattered pieces everywhere, and then she's just kind of the one to like make the time loop and have everything kind of go the way it's supposed to be. And when she realizes that, she's kind of like, maybe this could be cool. Maybe I could be an important person after all. And there we go. That's I'm Haunted 3. I guess we could keep watching the credits here and see if there's anything more to talk about. It's kind of funny how many people are involved. You don't really notice so much, and it doesn't seem like there's that many characters, but there's actually quite a few. These special thanks, these are people that helped out with our crowdfunding campaign. Yeah, so that's the end of the movie. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and I guess up next I'll have to do a commentary on I'm Haunted 4. So let me know if you enjoyed this. I don't know if anyone's even still listening. I think people like these commentaries. You'll get a few requests for them, but if you do like them, by all means let me know, because I want to know that people like hearing this and I'm providing something valuable to people. So anyways, thanks for watching. It really means the world to me that people watch my movies and reach out to me about them and get some enjoyment out of them, and I hope to make more in the future. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time.